I mean, that's the issue with loops, any loop. I mean, even with royalty-free loops is the fact that still, if I use it and you use it and B use it, we can. And the thing is, are you manipulating the loop in some kind of way, right?
Right.
Are you augmenting the loop in some kind of way where it's not distinguishable? Because sometimes people use loops and they just throw the whole loop in there, and it's like,
That's what I'm saying.
there we go.
It's like if you throw the whole loop in there, you know somebody gonna be like, "Oh,
I got that same loop."
Yeah, I use the same loop.
So, so a long time ago, I mean, he put it out there that this was the case. So when I first met Henny back in 18, 17, something like that, I walked up to him because I did not know Henny from anything at the first interaction, and I was like, "Hey, Henny, pleasure to meet you. Hey, I got a question for you. You know that Chris Brown No BS that you produce? That came from this loop pack. And I named the loop pack and everything. He was like, yeah, it's for sure. He was like, yep, sure did. Motion samples.
Okay.
I was like, that came from a motion sample pack, didn't it? He was like, yup. I was like, I thought so, because I got the same sound. But see, that's the issue when you have producers who now they augmented and play some different things on it.
Around it, yeah.
But if we use the same loop, YouTube content ID can pick it up and say, I mean, especially if we have
that's what producers are saying. They're like, these content ideas are gonna think it's the same.
It's the same,
but it's not. So it's like they be wanting to make sure that they do something different and unique with it to just make sure that they don't run into that confusion.
That's why B was mentioned in TrackLib, or like the Sample Lab is another place you can go get royalty-free loops and stuff like that. But they even have like a thing on their website that says, if you do get a YouTube content ID, use this statement in your argument, with YouTube to say that it's part of a royalty-free, you got it from the Sample Lab, and you have permission to use it.
So they tell you how to respond.
Yeah, they tell you how to respond. Because they know that YouTube content ID is going to pick it up.
Yeah.
They know that other producers are using that same sample and really not trying to augment it or change it up in any kind of way, and they just throw it right into their beat. And that's the thing, right? Because if we all use the same loop, somebody gonna pick it up.
But that was an interesting thing about the way Timbaland had put that track into Suno was it was super obvious off the jump.
Super obvious.
It was the track. It wasn't like and maybe I don't know how that part of Suno works. Like you could tell there was some other things going on in addition to the track itself. So I don't know if he was putting those things in or Suno had done that to it, if it was gonna get cut up any more than that. But it was like super obvious that was basically that was 8 bars of the track, clearly.
Right.
Like 16 bars of the track, clearly.
Did y'all see the video with Curtis King? And that's how I first saw it. Is Curtis King, it was like, look at this. And he played the KFresh.
Yes.
The KFresh video.
So I did see that one.
And then he played the Timbaland video. And he specifically said, listen to the tag. He said, listen to the boop, 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 boop tag. And it was just literally the bass line, the drum, everything was the same.
I don't think he knew that was a tag. I don't think Timbaland knew that was a tag.
I don't think he knew. But he picked it up. People picked it up and was like, oh, yo, you took that man's beat. And what I thought was super dope was Curtis King interviewed him.
The guy.
Yeah, he interviewed KFresh.
Yeah.
And people, were all in the comments as soon as this whole thing happened, were like, well, maybe Timbaland reached out. Y'all assuming maybe Timbaland, was trying to get a guy a shout out and blah, blah, blah. KFresh came on and was like, Timbaland ain't do none of that.
None of that.
So whatever y'all assuming, Timbaland ain't do any of that. He set the record straight.
Man said he didn't know how to feel about it.
You know how to feel. Oh, no. But there's this lawyer named Ryan Schmidt. Right? I put it on my Instagram today. No, not this one. Yeah. Ryan Schmidt. He's a lawyer. So he wrote this thing. Dear Suno and Timbaland, do better. We are writing at a time when musicians feel unseen, unheard, and unprotected. He goes through this whole thing, blah, blah, blah. Last week, Timbaland, who serves as Suno strategic advisor. Oh, I didn't know he was a strategic advisor. Okay, they gave him a position.
That's how it rolled out, that he was.
Okay. Shared a troubling video in which he took KFresh's original song, uploaded into Suno AI platform. Once again, Timbaland stated, I'm not using people's beats and music and things like that. And that was the whole issue with Beat Club and the things that he was doing, collecting all this music. And so they thought it was going to be, loaded up into Suno, which it was loaded up into Suno, right? Which is so crazy.
Exactly what people said was going to happen is exactly what happened.
That's right. And so he said Timbaland had every opportunity to use something he actually owns, and said he used someone else's work without permission. This wasn't just unethical. It violated U.S. copyright law and breached Suno's own terms of services. So he said, blah, blah, blah. He said, so we're asking not just for ourselves, but for every musician navigating the space. This is like important for all the indies as well, even though it's not one of our topics, but this is crazy important.
Seen that?
It says, so for the following within 24 hours, they're asking Timbaland, KFresh, and this lawyer, Ryan Schmidt, is a public apology to KFresh, proof that his music has been removed from Suno's model and training data, a plan to prevent future violations by users and company representatives, including Timbaland, a commitment to implement an artist opt-out process, and a promise that Suno and Timbaland will not use unlicensed music in future demos. Why? Because they about to sue.
Absolutely.
Timbaland. Right? So Timbaland. so it's an open letter from KFresh and his attorney, Ryan Schmidt. They're like, before we even do anything,
make it right.
Make it right. Make it right, Timbo. Timbo the king. Is he still the king? Does this take away that Timbo the king crown that he had? Remember that, Timbo the king?
I think that in this day and age, everything's up for grabs in terms of legacy. Legacies can be torn apart these days. So I think you just can. But I think that overall, though, when all the dust smoke clears, like Timbaland's still gonna be Timbaland. You can't take away his legacy. You can't take away what he did. Mm-hmm. And I feel like we got to be careful, man. Tearing down people. I think that it's hard for me to say what I would do, because I hate when I say what I would do when I'm not in a situation. It wasn't my beat that was taken, so I can't really like get on here and say, how I would have handled it. Yeah. I can tell you how I think I would handle it. I would like to think that I would I'll be less combative about it. I'll try to handle it behind the scenes a little bit more, and I'll try to, as a first resort, like the way that this producer's handling it, that'll be my last resort. My very last resort will be to go to the media and have all these public statements. That'll be my last resort. I would try to handle it like more amicably, privately, because this is Timbaland still. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't take that combative approach, because then what?
Is it because we want to have our producer heroes in a higher regard?
Yeah, but
or a certain space of honor?
No, exactly. And because you got to honor high regard, I will come at it way less combative, because it's still, I will try to, again, that'll be my last resort. That right there. Like if I tried all the diplomatic ways and all the peaceful ways and all the respectful ways, that would be the very last thing. Now, I don't know in this short time what processes he went through, but I wouldn't do that, because at the end of the day, man, he gonna be Timbaland and you gonna be whoever you are. So you could take this 15 minutes and try to be all take a moment for yourself, or you could maybe try to come up with solutions for the future so that this don't happen again, but also kind of have a good relationship. As opposed to because that's, to me, is first of all, Timbaland don't need to steal nothing from nobody. He's Timbaland. But now his motivations to why he did what he did, I don't know.
That's what I thought too. I don't know. He was Timbaland.
But he don't. But what I'm telling you definitively, Timbaland don't need to do that. So it's
he don't.
He definitely does.
He can make his own stuff.
Whatever motivations he had for doing it, I don't know. But he don't need to. So it ain't don't try to sit here and act like he got to steal somebody's stuff to get ahead. Absolutely not. So I would take a more humble approach about it. I would definitely make sure I get compensated and make sure that they make stuff right. But I wouldn't go in this public unless I'm being ignored and I exhausted all the diplomatic and quote unquote sensible ways to go about it. But I wouldn't, because I don't know, man. I don't like.
I feel like that's what happened, though. I think Timbaland didn't really offer up any kind of response.
He didn't.
And it wasn't that the producer guy didn't. He wasn't the one.
He wasn't even aware.
Put it on blast. Yeah, somebody brought it to his attention.
But this is all.
And somebody then the guy put out the post. That wasn't the producer either. But it just kind of it would almost be like you just got forced into the limelight. Like B told me Then I was like, no, that's not right. What you gonna do, B? You was like, I'm just gonna chill and see. Then we chilled for like 3 weeks and nothing happened.
I'm not saying
like, man, I'm gonna post it.
I'm not saying
it still wasn't on you.
I'm not even saying chill. I'm saying like still work. I mean, I'm contacting my attorney immediately, and we're like we're working behind the scenes. I'm not like having these statements because I don't know, and it's already.
I think they do the statements when they get ignored, and it's a lot of ignored culture is real.
Yeah, but
in corporate scenarios.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just think it's corny to try to like attack Timbaland. I think it's really cool. I think this whole I wasn't on the episode when y'all broke everything down, but I've been watching this a little bit. I haven't really took a deep dive in like I normally do, but I've been watching it. And I just think it's corny, man. I think Timbaland earned the right to move however he want to move, like it or not. You know, like it or not, he earned the right. And if he want to work with AI, he want to do, his beat club stuff. Let him. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you ain't with it, you don't got to be with it. But like, do your own stuff.
But does the honor go both ways though? Like, to me, honor goes both ways.
That's a good point,
right? So, yes, I can understand if I'm Timbaland, right? I'm the pinnacle of production.
Yeah,
but I should also not do things that could be seen as devious things. I mean, Timbaland don't have to use nobody else's beat, right? But Timbaland is not going to come up with every single dope beat. And I think that's the thing, is that there are other producers out there who have amazing music that Timbaland may not have even thought of. And then he hears it and go, oh, yo, that's kind of dope. I think that was the premise of the whole beat club.
Absolutely.
The beat club thing, right?
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how KFresh handled this. And he stated that nobody ever reached out to him. He didn't know anything about Timbaland had using this beat. And it was brought to his attention. People kept tagging him in it. And he was like, what's going on? Mm-hmm. Right. Curtis King interviewed him and he just cleared the air on what it was. I don't think his intent was to attack Timbaland in that sense. He just made it plain of what was actually happening. And even in the thing, he said what I thought was and what KFresh said. And I think there has to be some type of accountability in the whole process, because he said
from who though? From who?
From both sides.
No, from who? Like, I would respect it more if it was somebody on Timbaland's level putting them in check. Like, I think Jermaine Dupri, Dr. Dre, well, Diddy can't hold nobody in check, but somebody but y'all down there, like, cut it out, man.
Yeah, but I don't think that's the case though.
Cut it out. I ain't trying. As a consumer, I'm not trying to hear that, man. Like, and let it all play out. Like, if I haven't read the statement, but if
that was the thing, it wasn't playing out.
It just, all this stuff is just unfolding.
Yeah, it's unfolding now.
It's happening in real time.
It's unfolding now. But the only reason why it's unfolding, I didn't mean to cut you off, but the only reason why it's unfolding is because people found out.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Timbaland would have never said nothing.
The guy said, I haven't heard from anybody.
I haven't heard from anybody.
He hadn't reached out to anybody either. But he knew that it was now on blast, and you would think in a damage control type of way that maybe somebody from Timbaland's camp.
No, I'm gonna get my attorney to contact them immediately and send a cease and desist immediately.
He could have.
Immediately.
I don't know what transpired.
I'm not going to social media right away. That's my interviews. That's my last resort.
Yeah, because
and it is a resort. I'm not saying
it is a resort.
Don't need it.
I get it.
But that's at the very end of the. And after I exhausted all possible, and even then though, it wouldn't be that big of. Because my thing is, real quick, my thing is, like, I got so much confidence in what I'm doing and myself that I'm gonna be okay. I don't need to use that as a moment to propel myself. I'm gonna propel myself off my own talent. I'm just gonna set the record straight. At the end of the day, that was my beat that Timbaland used.
That's what he did.
I'm definitely gonna set the record straight, but I'm not gonna take it no further than that.
That's all. Yeah, that's all the interview was. He just set the record straight.
But even then, though, I'm gonna let them make this right. I'm gonna have my attorneys go and make this right.
Yeah, and that's what.
And it may take a while.
Yeah, that's what I think Ryan Smith is trying to do in this situation. But I think what was interesting in that whole video that it came to light, and Timbaland said that he didn't know who the producer was. And that he played the beat on live.
What's interesting is that he said he got it from a producer.
From a producer. But even before that.
But not the guy whose it is.
Even before that, he said that on the live, or whatever this conversation was, he said that when he played the beat on live, Ghostface hit him up and was like, yo, who beat is that? That beat is super dope. KFresh set the record straight. He was like, but Ghostface knows me and I know Ghostface. We know each other. So he was like, why didn't Timbaland just tell him that KFresh made it? One, Timbaland probably don't know who KFresh is. He probably does, probably don't. I don't know. But he said that Ghostface hit him up and was like, yo, who beat is that? But KFresh said that him and Ghostface absolutely 100% know each other. And I just thought that was kind of odd. And all he did was just set the record straight. He was like, but nobody ever contacted me. He said, so I don't know what's going on through this whole thing. And now you can start to see that there's a thing happening on social media, because it used to be a place where people go and make beats and post their beats online. Now you got people who make beats online and now they're cautious.
Oh, he says an artist sent it to him.
What artist? They probably ripped it from his.
It says, Timbaland said, I shared a post where I used a song that I believe was fully owned by the artist who sent it to me.
Who's the artist?
He said, out of pure excitement to explore, transform, collaborate, I ran it through Suno to show that this tech can openly create possibilities. I didn't monetize. I didn't release it. I didn't try to claim ownership. He said, I was genuinely inspired. He says, but I now understand that the song's beat was produced by a producer named KFresh who didn't give consent, and that's on me.
That's the same type of thing where you have people who use samples. And the question is, whose responsibility is it to clear the
yes, that's
whose
a great responsibility
example. If you're the artist and I'm the producer, whose responsibility is to clear that sample?
Great example.
Is it yours as the artist or is it mine as the producer?
And a lot of times the general public will put it on the artist, and the artist is like, I didn't make the
beat.
Yeah.
No, the sample should be clear about whoever put the music out. That's the answer. Whoever's responsible for the commercial release of the music is responsible for clearing the sample.
Technically,
point blank. Yeah,
technically, it's the producer who's supposed to clear it.
Or at least provide the information
of where you got the clearance from.
Again, when you're putting it out, your first step should be, hey, call the producer. What's this? Trust but verify. You find out.
Trust. Oh my God.
And also verify.
Trust but verify.
Verify what they're talking about is the truth. But to me, whoever's responsible for the commercial release is responsible for the clearing of the sample.
And they should be the final. Hey, where'd you get this from? Are there any samples in here? And if there are samples, where did you get the sample from? And did you already clear these samples?
Timbaland said,
it to me.
I should have done my due diligence before using it.
Always.
He got to say that. That's what he has to say. He has to say that. He has to say the right things. And that's as far as it should go. Unless he want to do some legal charges, which is that's his prerogative if you want to do that. But as far as Timbaland go, he released a statement. He said, "My bad." And that's it. But all these critics that want to try to take him down and shut up, man. Like
the problem with it was where people jumped on it the way they did is because people already have a problem with the whole AI.
That's my point
as a whole. And then he literally found himself in a scenario that almost proves the point to a greater degree
as to what they were already
concerned about. Was two things. Number one, he was using music that was made by a person, not by AI, in an AI program. And number two, you can actually have good intent and unknowingly be exposing something that someone has not consented. I don't think, he says, and I tend to believe him, he didn't know that it didn't belong to the person who, I don't know. Now that I'm saying it out loud, kind of like usually an artist, especially, or a producer, if they get something from an artist, like that's almost like one of the first three questions you ask somebody is, "Oh, this is dope. Who produced the track?" So if he got it from an artist and didn't concern himself with who produced the track, that's a little weird. But maybe he just was excited to use it or whatever. I don't know. But it played right into what people were saying, like. people who are Timbaland enthusiasts are like, Timbaland don't need to take nobody's nothing and do nothing. And then it was voila. Look what happened though.
He did what he thought he was gonna do.
Yeah. So it almost played right into the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
But like he said, he didn't. How much money did he make from it? Like how many records did it sell?
No, he didn't. Yeah, he didn't make any money from it. But I think what people were concerned about was how he was using Suno and people's music in relationship to Suno. And I think that was the overall worry in the beginning, was that when he had announced Stage Zero and Tata as the artist, and that he was partnering with Suno and using Suno, and they knew that he had the whole Beat Club thing, and they were concerned that he was taking, because they all knew. I mean, Suno and Udio, of course, are always in the news about being sued of how they train their AI models, and they thought that Timbaland was going to take all that music that he had from Beat Club and all those music he had from all those live stream things that he was doing in collaborations with other people, and using that to train Suno for the music he was going to be doing on Stage Zero. And when this happened, people were like, see, that's what we were talking about. That's what we were concerned about. And it's like, because
that beat the guy played it on social media.
He said he posted up like 8-9 times.
Yeah.
I'm just so tired of people complaining about AI, man. I'm so tired of it. It's coming. It's going to be here.
It's here.
Stop complaining.
It's
like,
here.
Do what you got to do. Tomorrow's not going to be like yesterday.
That's true.
Yesterday ain't never coming back. So stop complaining. Get in where you fit in. Do your best. Pivot. Talk to God. Get your mind right. Get your mind right. And just.
I don't want to.
I just hate. I hate complaining. I hate complaining. I hate complaining culture, and I hate trying to take people. Worry about yourself. I'm just. It kind of really. Maybe it's a good thing I wasn't here that day. I discussed it because it really gets me worked up, man. People.
But I think a lot of it is valid concerns, though, and because there aren't any rules of engagement when it comes to the use of AI in music, and right now there aren't any standards or any boundaries of how music is used in that perspective, and people are just trying to make sure that there are right boundaries and right standards in place for use of music when it comes to AI. And I think through that is how, not the complaining thing. To me, the complaining, and I did a whole video on this whole, matter of fact, complaining versus constructive feedback. But I think it's to me, complaining is going, oh, AI sucks and I don't want nothing to do with it and it's going to destroy your music and that's it. But I think having healthy conversation around it and really talking about pros and cons and what can we do within the limitations of AI helps make it better for the community overall, whether it's on a pro level or on an indie level. I mean, I agree. Don't complain.
I think we got to brace ourselves though, because the rules are going to be real murky
in the beginning.
They're going to be real in general. Like they're going to keep pressing, because then you're going to have people doing stuff illegally. They're going to just, and it's going to be wild and crazy out here. You just got to get ready, man, and try to be as authentically yourself as you can.
Yeah.
And I mean, everything. Listen, people are going to have artificial relationships. You ain't going to need to date nobody no more. You could put your headset on and you got a girlfriend or boyfriend.
What was that movie?
Like
with Bruce Willis. And it was him and his wife. And they were surrogates.
Surrogates, yeah.
It was called Surrogates. And they could put on these headsets and activate like an AI body somewhere and go out into the world and party and date other people. But Bruce Willis was still in love with his wife, but his wife was out there doing some crazy stuff, I believe, in this movie. But that's kind of what it's going to, how I see it. I think some of these movies are already paving the way to say,
it's foreshadowing.
Hey, yeah, it's like a foreshadow. These things are going to happen. And I can see that. I can see that people are going to put on headsets and have surrogate bodies that they can walk around in. It's going to be crazy.
Everything's going to be different. So I understand trying to hold on to things the way they are now, but just kind of, I don't know, man. I just think you gotta enjoy what it is right now, or while you can still make original music. Hey, do it. Who knows where this thing is going, man?
Yeah, I think that everything that is invented, every piece of equipment you buy, all of it comes with a manual, right? And I think that AI is something that we're still writing the manual for. But I think if people don't express what their concerns are, express what how it will be used, then you will end up with, in essence, a piece of equipment with no manual. And then you'll have people doing things with it that they shouldn't be doing. I think that the noise now is important to set the parameters and the guidelines as to how we will use this. It's like at one point, you remember you couldn't use a certain kind of calculator in school because that
I can't use a scientific calculator.
You couldn't use you know what I'm saying? So as the technology progressed, then rules and parameters were put in place to ensure that those things did not come into certain areas or environments because they compromised the integrity of that environment. If that was a school environment, it's like, no, that calculator gonna show you how to get to work. And I want to know that you know how to get to work. And that's why you can't sit in SAT and ACT testing with your laptop. Like,
there's rules.
There are rules, there are guidelines, there are stipulations, and I think that those things they're in place for everything. Even now, okay, you don't get a paper manual, but still, even if you buy a phone, they got where you can scan something and it'll show
downloadable one.
Yeah, so
or step-by-step instruction on your phone.
Yeah, I don't think that AI should be held without boundary. Like if it's coming.
It's coming.
Yeah, I just think that what people are doing and saying is appropriate in order to figure out some kind of guidelines.
Like what's the guideline? Because I don't think they're gonna follow no guidelines. Honestly, I don't think that like.
I mean, there already are some. Like, for example, even when SAG and AFTRA just were on strike last year, part of the reason why they were on strike as long as they were is because they wanted it in the contract to say that they would not be able to use the likeness of actors to then recreate those actors and use their likeness instead of extras. To use their likeness to do an entire movie without the individual. Those were things that they negotiated into the contract to ensure that people didn't use AI in a way that basically eliminated the individuals that created them.
Yeah, I mean,
so that's the kind of, and because of that means that you still have an entire demographic of people who can make a living for themselves.
Right.
What about? I get that. Of course, obviously, basic stuff has to be in there. But what about them making up an actor? William Hustle.
Just like making an artist, Tata.
Yeah, like Tata. Yeah.
But what I'm saying, that's coming. That is coming.
It's here.
And I don't think you can like legislate that because
that you may not be able to.
But that's still gonna take jobs away from people. Like they had a thing where there's a movie I saw that I liked, but the movie didn't do as well because it was a big strike against the movie because they used one little image of like a poster in the background that was made by AI. So it was a big thing. What movie was that? It was a movie, and they had one of the background posters because there was like a few posters on the wall. One poster on the wall was like an AI generated poster. It wasn't by an actual artist, and it was a big uproar. And they protested the movie and all that. And the movie, didn't get promoted as much as it would have promoted because it's one little, and it's like that's coming, man.
That happened to that's the same thing that happened to Kesha. And she put out an album, and the album had an AI artwork. It was created by AI.
Yeah,
and they went ham on that.
The artist community. And my thing is, this is like, I understand, but it's like they gotta. It's coming. It's coming. They're gonna.
It's coming. They just need to have some guidelines.
Some guidelines.
Basic
guidelines.
But it's like I don't think you're gonna be able to tell a company that they can't use AI artwork in their movies. I just don't think even in other words, there are going to be things that's coming from AI that's going to take real jobs away, and it's just reality. It's just reality, and I guess that's my larger point.
Yeah. I mean,
and then to that point, it's just got to be stated. A lot of people, I think, to all of our points, are going to not use it in an integral way. They're going to pretend like.
And if you as a consumer say, you know what, I don't want to support this movie because of that, that's your right.
But what if you don't know? What if they don't tell you?
No, it has to be like on a label. Like you go to the grocery store, you see the label.
Like for example, even with the Grammys, now the Grammys is like, okay, if you use AI, you need to tell us in the creation of your track, or there is a category for artwork, for cover artwork, that kind of thing. Like, you can't just put it in there. Don't have us run this through some software and find out that this was.
But that's going to disqualify the.
Yeah, it's like you gotta put these parameters in place, because somebody will be out here pretending like they just got the flyest vision and they really don't. It's AI. So that's why don't turn your back on it or act like it's not coming, because it is. It's here.
But I
how we use it, we created it. We got to set the parameters on how we use it.
And I think those are the things, be like the general standards, right? Like a label, because YouTube does it now. Like if you have artwork that has AI, you have to indicate that this is an AI generated thumbnail or graphic and things like that.
That movie was called Late Night with the Devil. That was the movie. It was a horror movie. It was really good. Really good.
Late Night with the Devil.
Yeah, really good. But one of the pieces of artwork in there that was, again, a background artwork was AI generated, and it would cause a real.
Somebody had to go run that and know that. Somebody had to pay that close attention to see a background artwork and go, that's AI. Like that's.
Yeah, it was a real big controversy.
That's crazy.
In that particular movie. But anyway, I don't know, man. I just a lot of this stuff, because again, I'm not well versed enough, but I'd be getting bits and pieces, and every time I look up, it's somebody like, attacking because they're using AI, and it's like, bruh, like, did they steal your stuff personally? Like, how are you threatened by this? Because it's gonna happen. You're gonna have AI producers. We already do have, but you're gonna have people like getting beats that are just people with no talent at all, going on a computer, typing in what kind of beat they want,
prompter,
and getting a banging beat. It might not have no soul in it, but it might sound to the non-music connoisseur like it's a banging beat. They're gonna type it in there, and they're gonna come out with a beat.
Right.
It's gonna be unfair, but that's just what's gonna happen.
What's so crazy as you're talking about that is, so which I didn't know they had a documentary, Mary J. Blige, My Life, which is, of course, one of my favorite albums. I don't know if y'all know that.
I think
I was disappointed in that documentary, by the way. It came out a couple years ago. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know it was a couple years ago.
I forgot why, because I gotta remember. It came out so long ago. I forgot why.
I didn't know it was a couple years ago.
I think it wasn't as thorough enough. It wasn't as because that's my favorite album by Mary J. Blige, and it was so much they didn't touch on, and I was thinking
it wasn't like
they didn't touch on.
That thing would have been 3 hours long.
Well, if you're gonna do it.
3 hours long. Like go
find that, because
it's on
that
Prime.
album.
It's on Prime. It's on Prime.
Yeah, it's on Prime. I watched it yesterday.
I watched it when it first came out. It came out what, 2023, 2022. It came out years ago.
Okay.
But I remember thinking like, why didn't they?
Good,
they left out so much. Well, it wasn't good to me, man. I thought, because I'm a documentary. Well, the parts they showed were good, but they left out. If you want to do a documentary, like, you gotta.
What did they leave out?
Well, I told you I gotta remember. It was so long ago. I just remember thinking like they didn't leave this. I gotta watch it again. But it was a lot they didn't cover. And I think they covered stuff that had nothing to do with the album too. That made me mad. Like, why did they cover this? It was like, I think what it was a mixture. It was like a Mary J. Blige history. Mm-hmm. Like, pick it's gonna be on the album or Mary J. Blige. It's like a bio.
It was like a biography. It was like because it's my life, and it was about her life, but in relationship to
that project,
that particular project.
Okay,
specifically.
No, I get it. They didn't really dig deep enough. Like the inception of the album, like, they didn't really like do a thorough. Oh,
I thought they did. Well, maybe they didn't go that deep. But
like, again, I have to watch it again and take my complaints and write notes down. But I remember at the time I watched it, was like, no, man.
Yeah, they didn't go like
y'all didn't cover
super deep into the inception of the album. They talked about, Andre Harrell when he signed Mary J. At her apartment.
Yeah, like, but that was real. It's like they didn't.
That was before the album.
Yeah, like they didn't.
Yeah. It was before the album, but it was talking about her life, because everything that's in the songs is a reflection of the things that she went through in her life. Like when she talks about being molested at 5, when she talks about being abused by KC, right? When she talks, all these different situations are in the songs. And so she's talking about, this, when I was growing up, this is what happened. But in this song, that's where it's reflected.
They didn't even talk to Dalvin produced some of this. They didn't talk to JoJo. Like, again,
they didn't talk to any of them. They talked to
But if you're going to do a documentary.
Well, Chucky pretty much produced almost the entire.
Chucky, rest in peace. He produced
almost the entire album.
Yeah, it was right after he died. It was when it came out. So he died during the pandemic. It was right after. It was around that time, a few years ago. But I remember feeling unsatisfied.
I liked it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was
cool. I enjoyed the stuff I saw. But I'm like, they didn't like. For example, the Malice at the Palace, the whole brawl basketball. They did a documentary on that. Terrible. it was like 1 hour long. Like, how you going? They left so much stuff out. I'm a documentary critic. Yeah. You know, I love a good documentary.
Yes. Man, according to you, documentary's gonna have to be like 3 hours. Cause
here's the thing, though. This is funny you say that. Documentaries. This is a tangent, but documentaries depend. It depends on what you know, because I had to think about it one day. When I watch documentaries on stuff that I don't know about, I might think it's good. But if I know, if I was alive back then and I see something, I'm like, wait a second,
like, they ain't high.
They didn't cover.
Right.
They didn't cover. I love finding out new stuff, but at the same time, stuff that I know, can't skip over stuff that I know. Like Strata Compton, the movie. Amazing movie, but they kind of played Eazy-E.
They did.
They played Eazy-E. They played him. They played him on multiple fronts. Because I was alive. I was a kid. I was a nerd, so I know what happened. You know, I seriously doubt Eazy-E was on ride around in his car by himself, watching Billboards of the Chronic and crying about it.
I don't think so either.
Because they failed to mention in the movie that he sued and he got paid off the Chronic. They briefly touched on the lawsuit, for like 2 seconds when the scene with Jimmy Iovine, where he said, "Oh, legal troubles? Okay, I'll take care of that." That's all he said, you know. Eazy got paid off the Chronic. He said it, he got paid off the Chronic. And so I ride around crying when you see a billboard. First of all, like, who knows what Eazy would do in his private moments by himself? You're not here to talk about that.
Maybe he told somebody.
Hey, honey, I saw a billboard and I cried today. No, bro. So my point is, when I watch documentaries and stuff,
that's funny.
But certain things, like I saw a documentary on Netflix about 9/11, finding Bin Laden. It's like a 3 or 4 part. I thought it was amazing, but at the same time, though, all this stuff is new to me. I was alive back then, but I wasn't in the news like that. Right. Like how the one guy, I don't want to give it away if you ain't seen it, but it's some stuff in there that happened. But it's all in the news anyway. But I didn't know about. I thought it was it was like a 4-part episode, 4-episode documentary about how they literally, from the time 9/11 happened until they killed Bin Laden and everything in between, all the stuff he went through, why it took so long to get him. Apparently, they could have got him back in 2001. They had him, but George W. Bush wouldn't give the go-ahead to bomb him. You know, he was kind of, because he didn't want American troops to lose their life, so he was kind of, but they had him though. He got away. So it wasn't until like, what was that? 15 years later, 11 years later. I think they came in 2012 when and Barack Obama, again, not to give it, I'm a spoiler alert, but Obama was like a G. He kind of like was like, you know, because they wasn't even sure he was there. They wasn't sure.
Obama called him. Hey, you there?
No, I'm saying the night they killed, they wasn't.
Let me speak to.
They wasn't sure that Bin Laden was there at all, and they didn't have no backup. They sent. It was in Pakistan. They sent an American Navy SEAL team in there by themselves.
That's how they do it.
By themselves with no backup, and they wasn't
it.
even sure that Bin Laden was in there. They said, we think he in there based on the intelligence, but we not even sure.
No, that's how Navy SEALs go and do it.
And it was Obama that said, you know what, let me sleep on it. You know what? Fuck it. I think let's go for it.
He was like,
and it turned out he wasn't there and they got him. But anyway.
He was like, Osama, this is Obama.
Are you there? my point is,
speak to your mama.
My point is, some folks might think that's because I'm ignorant to that stuff. So for me, it was amazing. But somebody who might know better might say, no, they didn't really tell the whole story.
Right.
So it's kind of tricky with documentaries.
Yeah. I mean, even the stuff that they didn't cover and they kind of left out and didn't really go, you know, in detail. It was, to me, it was still good because I just love the album. So I love how they told some of the stories.
I love it too, though. I love it. That's why I was mad. I'm like, I love it too. And like, why didn't y'all ask? Because it was questions I want to know that they didn't answer. So that's why I'm like, well,
yeah, well, but you got to think maybe they turned down. They were like, nah, I don't want to be in your documentary.
Or maybe it was produced by the artist, so she couldn't be objective because
it was exactly.
No. I'm being sarcastic because she produced it herself. So you know what I'm saying. So I think the best documentaries are from like a third party, but it's always weird because the artist got to give consent.
You got to give consent to it.
Like the whole Tribe Called Quest documentary. That was real controversial because Michael Rappaport did a documentary. Q-Tip gave his blessing for it. They all gave a blessing, but when it was time to come out, it was like he was kind of hesitant, and they kind of was beefing a little bit because he covered some stuff they didn't want to get out about him and Phife Dawg beefing And it was like, well, I don't know about that.
Is it factual?
So, but it was like, it made a good documentary because it was by a third party who was a fan, who was objective.
Wanted to tell the whole story.
Yeah. And you know it was good because Q-Tip was kind of like, and they ended up making them after, they would end up being cool afterwards. But it was like, it was good because Q-Tip was even like, I don't know about this, man. I don't know why you don't be showing our dirty laundry, but
that's what the documentary
was thorough. For. But it's hard to get that when the artist does it themselves, I guess. I don't mean to go on.
But my point was that as I was watching that documentary, they were talking about a lot of different emotions and things that she went through, which of course is why that album turned out to be what that album is. And through that, she was having conversations with people, with fans, and the fans would come up to her and talk about, you saved my life. I was thinking about jumping off a bridge, and boom, I heard your song, and it saved me. And that's the point I was making. AI can't do that, right? I mean, you can make a song that sounds like that, but that emotional connection, because all throughout the thing, people were saying, I felt connected to her. Can people, and that was in this video that I made, is that I think somewhere we're going to be creating like a parasocial type of environment where people are going to have emotional attachment to AI artists. And these artists aren't even real. But anyway,
AI is a that's a 2-part episode.
Yeah.
Because the catch is this: AI is trained off of models. The models are who is the model? We are, right? So literally, you could feed the Mary J. Blige documentary and the album into AI, and now it could create a situation, scenario, story, and artist based on hardships and struggles. Using Mary J. Blige as the model.
It could.
So, I mean, if we doing that, then what's left?
Or
it's just gonna be a crazy world. We'll see.
What about if you super talented, super dope, you get your own little AI model, your own AI software. You put all your heart and soul into it, and you don't got to work the rest of your life because you just, you just making AI stuff off of you.
Right.
You putting out albums. You just type. You just it does it for you based on you
still a prompter.
You done fed it all. You done fed it your whole heart and soul, and now I'm gonna just release music off of this. I sit down. I don't know, man. All I'm saying is that we just got to figure out a way to make it through. And even with that, it's only one you. It's only one.
That's true.
B. Vaughn. It's only one Ty. It's only one Brian. So it's only us. And hopefully it'll see through. People will see through. They will come to get the real. They'll come to get shit. Even podcasts, bro. There's like, I watch even now when you go to YouTube. They got whole video breakdowns with AI doing a breakdown. Like my daughter and I, we got this thing. We go to the movies and we ride in the car on the way home. And we come home and turn the TV on and we watch all the breakdowns of the movie we just saw. We just love to do that. It's fun. But now half of that is like AI now.
It's AI, like a whole AI voice doing the whole thing.
And they're analyzing the movie. They're breaking down the critical points and they're breaking down like the hidden themes. And it's kind of like,
it's crazy.
But what I do though, I'm trying to filter through it. I want to get a real person to saw it. I'm trying to filter through and find a real person because I want a real person to tell me, how they felt about it.
That becomes part of the AI model is for them to figure out
to break through.
How they gonna find a person that that resonates to you as an authentic, genuine looking person, and then have that right. Have you seen these posts on IG and TikTok where they have like the black women saying like these Southern sayings?
Oh yeah.
And it's AI.
Yeah.
But it's different women, and they saying like, "Boy, you better clean that room, do something." Like
I saw one today,
and it's like
I saw one today.
Oh, yeah, how when you do the voiceovers? Well, not the voiceovers. When they do the lip syncing, they lip sync somebody.
Yeah, but they now have there are actors who have sold their likeness to models. And so therefore you can literally go on an AI model and they may have 20 different real people's faces that you can choose. And then you can select the voice type to go with it. And the actual context, like what they're going to be saying, you can feed that to this real person but AI is has combined the words, the person, and their mouth
In the
motion.
Yeah.
And so you're looking at a real person, but what they're saying, they never said.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Even in terms of like you saying, we like the ones with real people. No AI, somebody has built that into a model, and they're like, okay, well, what is he? Which ones are he clicking on? What are these people looking like? Okay, boom. So we're gonna make a person that look like that, still do the same.
Man, all I know, some of that stuff be fake now. Some of that stuff
is fake now.
Because half of it is like voiceovers anyway. You don't see the person.
Yep.
Most of it anyway. So
it's AI voice.
When the AI posts come up on my feed, I hit that scroll so hard on that. I don't want that in my algorithm at all. Because if you sit there watching it, trying to figure out if it's AI, you're gonna get more of them.
You're gonna get more of it.
If I'm not sure in the first 3 seconds, get that up out of here. I'm a Tombo with the finger. Get that out of here.
All right, look, okay.
We way off, right? We super tangents that.
Nah, okay. Look, that's okay. That's okay. Because sometimes, there's things that come up in the moment that a lot happens during the week. That's the thing. There's a lot. And you trying to squeeze it in. That's crazy. Let's talk about this whole Jim Jones versus Nas.
That's the one thing I wanted to talk about.
That's what we're gonna talk about. So let me get y'all the context. Y'all probably seen it. It's all over the internets right now.
It's wild.
It's wild, right? So it talks about in a recent interview with Fat Joe and Jadakiss, Jim Jones boldly claimed he has a stronger music catalog than Nas. This statement quickly went viral. Trust me, it is. Sparking heated debates across social media. While some see it as confidence and healthy competition, others believe it's a symptom of an industry obsessed with comparisons. For independent artists, this raises bigger questions. Is comparisons killing the creative culture, or is this just healthy competition? Or does boldness like this drive artists to level up? Let's talk about it. B,
please.
What's good?
Start us off.
I want to say some facts. That's all. And then I'll give you my opinion later. If y'all want it. But I'm definitely gonna get the facts.
Let's get the facts.
Because he said pull up his Billboard and pull up Nas' Billboard.
Yeah.
And Billboard pulled it up. So I just want to read.
I
just want to read.
Of course they are.
Billboard's article. He said pull up Billboard.
So they like, here you go.
He said he had more. He insinuated that he had more Billboard hits than Nas. And let's check it out. He said, for the record, okay. Let me read Jim Jones' quote first of all. I'm not taking anything away from nobody, Jones add, but I hear the comparisons. Niggas be trying to act funny. No, I've been speaking on a lot of shit, but I'm talking about the industry. I've been putting on. If you want to go to Billboard entries, pull up Nas' Billboard entries and pull up my Billboard entries.
Okay.
Billboard pulled them up.
All right.
And it says from Billboard, for the record, Jim Jones has 2 songs, We Fly High and Pop Champagne, in his catalog that have hit the Billboard 100 with 1 top 10 hit and no number ones. We got 2 songs. 2. Nas, on the other hand, has 27 songs that have reached the Billboard Hot 100 with 2 top 10 songs. So he had 2 and Nas had 27.
Like double.
Let's talk about albums. It says when it comes to albums, Jim has 9 that enter in the top 200. 9 albums, top 200, with 3 top 10 albums. So 3 albums was in the top 3 for that week whenever it came out. While Nas has 27 entries in the top 200 with 16 top 10 albums. So 16 albums have won the top 10.
He had that many albums?
Top 200. And
Nas had that?
Nas had 16.
16?
And they all were in the top
songs.
10. I'm talking about albums.
Wow.
16 top 10 albums.
I mean, are we counting like King's Disease and all that? Because, I mean,
those are albums.
You got to. I mean, those are albums, right? Yeah. Those are, no, because, sometimes people are like, well, that's a mixtape. That's not an album. But I think King's Disease 1, 2, and 3 are actual, I mean, they're albums.
Yeah, and Magic. Yeah. Him boy did 6 albums.
Yeah.
6 albums.
Yep.
And 6 that went number 1. 6 number 1 albums. Jim Jones, 0 number 1 albums. So those are just the facts. So
Jimmy.
You can play the circuit.
So what happened? What I think what is he looking at that makes him think
Well, what happened
he
was
more popping.
What happened was
you just think he cooler?
There was a viral video that went around.
Some guy, right?
It was a 22-year-old kid.
Yeah,
was saying, I forgot what he said, but he was saying that like Jim Jones is more of a legend than Nas or something like that. Jim Jones is better than Nas. You know, and that's what sparked all this kind of debate.
And then so Fat Joe asked him about it.
Is this the kid that be on that one podcast?
I don't know.
With the 3 other guys? And the same kid that said that, which was not on the topic.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
The same kid that said that Chris Brown is better than Michael Jackson.
I don't know what you're talking about.
And also that he said somebody else, Outkast, is not in the top 3 best not R&B, best.
No. Hold on. Even better. He said that in terms of duos, that the number 1 duo, rap duo of all time was Kanye and Jay-Z.
Jay-Z, yes.
And they were like, that's not a duo. Like, Outkast is a duo. He's like, what are you talking about? They made an album.
Watch the Throne. Well, they had a group name. So I would consider them a duo, but I'm going to put them at
Meth and Red, you would consider to be a duo. They came out with 2 albums.
Yeah.
Blackout 1 and 2. Right? And they did a couple singles on
he said Jay-Z and Kanye. I mean,
but then he
if
said
you had to have a partner, having Jay-Z or Kanye as your rap duo partner, that's pretty strong.
Right. I was just wondering if it was the same kid.
I have no clue.
I know exactly.
They be going on that kid. But anyway, you can proceed.
So I have no clue. But that's where it came from.
Okay.
And that's what, but I don't really have the best opinion of Jim Jones when it comes to stuff like that. I think that I started losing respect for Jimmy when this is years ago. It's like 20 years ago now when 50 Cent and Cameron was beefing. The beef started because Cameron was defending Jim Jones, who, by the way, we wouldn't even know who he was if it wasn't for Cameron. Cameron is what brought us Jim Jones. But Jim Jones, Cameron and 50 Cent beef started because 50 Cent was trying to downplay Jim Jones' first album. And Cameron went at him for that. Lo and behold, a little time passed. Jim Jones sides with 50 Cent and gets on stage, and it's just like, I was kind of, my respect left for him then when you go against Cameron and side with 50 Cent. And then years later, 50 Cent laughed at it about how he played the two against or whatever. But
dang. Come on, Jimmy.
But yeah, I'm not. So, he had a couple hit records, but I wouldn't compare him to Nas.
Yeah, what's crazy is, to me, right? And I guess it's just depending on like what you were exposed to, where you were in music. Like in terms of like the songs that Jim Jones had, I definitely think that there was a time where he was more mainstream popular just because he was part of Dipset, and Dipset was so mainstream popular. And I'm thinking, that's why I'm trying to wonder how he came to the conclusion that he was.
I have no idea.
That he had all these accolades that Nas don't have. But I think that that's what can happen to you when you think that you're when you're popular, that don't equate to accomplishment. Popularity and accomplishment are 2 different things. People can be not qualified for something and get it because they're popular. Mm-hmm. I do think that, if he go to the club and he thinking everybody in there cheering for him, whatever, and he don't hear as much noise around Nas' name, Nas is just, to me, respected more so for the art itself in a different way. And I wonder if just the flashing lights made him delusional about what his stat.
I don't know.
I feel like it's got to be a reason why he thinks he's fresher than Nas.
Well, a lot of times I think people do stuff like this because they want to be relevant, right?
Yeah, because it seemed like Fat Joe was trying to slow him down. Fat Joe was trying to like he was like, I'm not trying to gas you up, but Jim was like, nah, you brought it up, so let's go.
Yeah, it's like a relevancy thing, right? I'm not popping right now, so who can I talk about or say things about or compare myself against that probably people will go, nah, that's crazy.
But he didn't start it though.
He didn't start it, but cool. He didn't start it, but he should have came out and said.
And he didn't come out and say nothing. Joe asked him.
He should have came out and said, I don't have as many hits as Nas. I don't have as many billboards as Nas. Like, as soon as you start talking about, but then again, that's where pride and ego come in, right?
He said he grew up. No, he said, I grew up listening to Nas. I look up to Nas.
I get that.
Nas is an idol to me in terms of how I view hip hop, especially where he started with that.
That statement
before he started talking crazy
was
now,
crazy.
Because I actually put it's in there.
Yeah, it's in here.
The clip where he starts.
You said it.
Where he starts by saying, you know,
look.
Niggas be trying to act funny when it comes. No, I've been spanking a lot of this shit. I'm talking about the industry. I've been putting on. So let's not get into that where we get into numbers and I got to show you the statistics of what I've done. You heard to what other people was done. You heard, and if you want to go to the Billboard entries, pull up Nas' Billboard entries and pull up my Billboard entries.
Listen, we can't compare the two. What I'm trying to
I'm glad
that's why I said Joe was trying
Joe was like,
Joe was trying to temper it. Like Joe was like, I'm not trying to be the reason why these two dudes end up going at each other.
Like, hey, bro.
Furthermore, his last album, Jim put out an album this year.
Yeah.
Nobody talked about it.
You know why?
At the church steps.
I never heard of it. Ain't nobody checking for Jim Jones like
when
that.
He did the press run.
Nobody's checking for Jim Jones like that. Even though Jim Jones he's part of Dipset, even though he could be, in the limelight.
Yeah, his record's gonna get played in a club before Nas record.
Nas though.
Yeah, that's a different.
That's a different thing.
Yeah, that's different.
Nas can drop King Disease 4 today, and we gonna hear about it.
Yeah,
we gonna hear about it. We gonna listen to it, and we gonna talk about this album. Ain't nobody talking about Jim Jones. Jimmy, ain't nobody talking about your album. Sorry, your catalog is nowhere in comparison.
I'm telling you,
Nas' album.
Like I'm looking for the
who's gassing this dude up? Somebody has to be.
I'm telling you though, but when you think about it, like,
hey, don't let them say you like that.
His songs get played more like in a club setting. Does that mean his projects are better? No. Does that mean that more people who are truly listening to hip hop are listening to it? No. But if you need to get people out of their seats at the club, you play ballin'. So I'm just thinking he was it jaded or he's confused. He's confused.
The question.
But people have given him this. It's both his confidence and I think some outside influence. But
I don't know.
Cause Nas just cool. Like Nas don't be messing with nobody, man. Nas stay out the way. He drop his albums. They do great numbers. He go overseas, sell out tours.
Nas is trying to do his ventures.
His business.
Nas trying to do his ventures. He trying to be a venture capitalist.
His investment money is crazy.
He ain't trying to have no beef.
Nah.
All of a sudden people be putting Nas into things that Nas is like, where'd this come from?
Yeah.
And Nas ain't saying nothing.
I'm
He's
sure
like, I don't have anything to say.
I would be very surprised if Nas said
if he does say anything, he gonna say just check the billboards and keep it moving. That's the only thing probably he can even say at the level that Nas is and in the space he's at. But that's the thing, right? I guess even right, because we always talk about how do these things apply to the independent music creator. I mean, do these things even matter? Like, do comparisons of catalogs and comparisons of numbers, does better numbers mean you're a better artist?
Well, for the record, I think that of course we use the term independent very loosely, but Jim Jones has been independent for most of his career. And I know Ballin was independent, even if you want to count Koch Records as independent. Koch is, I think, it's called E1 now, I believe. But, they
changed the name.
Oh, yeah. Koch that name changed a long time ago. It was, I think before it was E1, it was something else too, before it was E1.
I thought Koch merged with somebody, but yeah, they definitely did change the name.
Yeah.
I don't know. All I know is they're E1 right now. I think they're owned by like Mattel.
E1. Yeah,
they're owned
E1.
by like a toy company or something like that now.
Didn't
Mattel buy E1?
Well, no, Mattel used to own
Hasbro
used to own Nas. There was a toy company that used to own Death Row Records.
Yeah. Because they owned it because they bought E1. E1 owned Death Row. So they bought E1 and they acquired it through buying E1.
Yeah.
But Jim Jones that's the whole, I think 50 Cent made a statement saying that Koch was a graveyard for rappers. And Cameron took offense to that because Jim Jones was signed to Koch. And that's when Ballin' came out on Koch. So
it's rough out here.
So
2021, Blackstone bought
Blackstone
E1
Blackstone still own E1?
It says, and then they renamed the record division MNRK Music Group. That was in 2021. So that's where it stands currently. So and it's Blackstone. So they're not. All they're
Blackstone
doing
don't
is
care.
they're cashing out on the catalog.
That's it. They don't care.
Yeah. That's how Snoop was able to get it.
Yeah. The Blackstone don't care.
Yeah.
They're an investment firm that buys up a lot, and they're one of the largest investment firms that will go out and purchase. If y'all don't know who Blackstone is, just go look up all the things that Blackstone actually owns. The list is crazy. You'd be like, why do they own that?
Yeah.
Why do they own this? And those two are not even in the same field. It's like,
so I think that Jim Jones, of course, he ended up getting signed with the major label after Ballin' came out. Forgot which label it was. I think he might have had another deal after that as well. But I believe he's back independent now.
Yes.
So I think that as far as our independent artists, you know, he does show that you can have a hit record independent. Even though he was affiliated with Cameron, who was like, you know, Diplomat. I think Diplomat Records, was on Koch, if I'm not mistaken. I think all the Dipset stuff. Was that? I don't think that was Rockefeller. I don't think. I could be wrong though. I know Cam was signed to Rockefeller at the time, but I think that was all independent.
Going back to your statement, see, to me, independent is anybody that's not signed to a label.
But like for example, Empire now is, they say it's independent, but I mean, I know Empire, they can give you an advance, and they can.
No. I mean, if they're a label in any kind of way that you are signing some type of contractual deal that's not distribution, then to me, you're not independent. Because if it's a distribution deal, then yeah, they help them with your didistribution.
But a lot of them
everything
will
else
front you money though.
They will.
They'll front you money. So is that independent? Or
I mean, technically, once you take a check from somebody, you are not independent. To me.
Well, what if you take a check from a car company, like for
a
car company?
You're not independent. Just like how they had the big debate about Chance the Rapper taking a check from Apple, but still saying he was independent because he wasn't signed to a major. But I would just Natalie Toyota give me $200,000, I don't know if I could really call myself independent. My project is being funded. I'm not Ludacris selling albums out the trunk.
But is Toyota dictating the things that are happening with your music and with your career? To me, it's different if I give you money, now I'm becoming an investor.
Yeah. That's what a label is, though. They are
but
control over
they have control over the music. They own the masters. They're doing I'm sure I'm gonna have some recoupment built in there because I need some ROI.
Yes.
On giving you some of this $200,000, right?
Investor. You're right. Creative control.
Right, they don't have any creative.
Generally stays with them. Yeah.
So if they are signed to a label and they don't have creative control of that, and they actually have a contract that's signed that says what all the contract language says, which is not to go all into it, but what all that is. Now, I'm sure there's some type of contractual language around me giving you this $200,000.
100%, absolutely.
100, I'm sure.
Yes.
Right, because I need my I need
even in distribution scenarios.
Yeah, I need my ROI still.
Distribution scenarios sometimes will even include name, image, and likeness.
Yeah.
So that they can find other things for you. So that they can then get a percentage of what they'll take 20 to 30% of if they get your song placed on NBA Jams or whatever, a basketball game or something. Then they get a percentage of that, even though they're technically not telling you what to do creatively. But they've made the investment, and now they're backing their investment. Do you still consider that independent?
I probably would.
Because if I'm independent and I'm paying for everything myself.
See, that's what most people consider independent.
That's what I thought independent was.
Everything myself.
Not somebody wrote me a check and now I'm using their money, because I'm still afforded things that another independent does not have.
But what if you, as an independent artist, write a business plan for your business and you go to a bank and receive a loan based on
You got to pay the loan back.
Well, but that's a good point. If I got the loan and the loan is in my name, not in the name of like another entity that I got the money from, I think that still would be independent. I think.
So independent is if you are paying things on your own without any type of
strings,
financial backing or additional strings that may be attached to it contractually, or you have to. I mean, you're gonna have to pay the loan back, but there isn't anyone else that is coming in and getting any type of percentage off of the money or earnings that you may have accumulated.
Yeah, if somebody is making an investment to receive a return, you are not independent. Now, obviously, we know that if you're not doing it on the same level as a major label, we all use that umbrella as the independent umbrella, because clearly the amount of resources and funding that they have is infinite comparative to even if somebody told you, here's $200,000. That $200,000 don't get you a marketing department, a research department, a promo team. You have to then take that money and use it for those things. Whereas a label, it comes with that. They just add that onto the debt. They're like, here, the $200,000 is yours, but we gonna everything else we put on there, we gonna add it to the.
That's right. And we gonna recoup that.
And we gonna recoup that too before you start to see anything back from it. I wanted to say real quick though, as far as Dipset, they actually were signed to Def Jam, and Rockefeller.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, so they started out strictly independent. They went from independent to Koch, from Koch to Def Jam, and Rockefeller.
Rockefeller, yeah.
Shout out to Dipset, man. Shout out Cam, Jewels, and Jim Jones.
Dipset is still dope. I just think Cam, not Cam. I think Jim Jones' head is. I don't know.
Again, I stopped liking Jim Jones when he.
I think he's just delusional
when he sided with 50 Cent back in 2000.
I don't think he's delusional. I just think that
that's delusion. Yes.
I don't think it's like when you see somebody who looks like they have a lot of money because maybe they got like chains on and stuff, but they broke.
He took something.
I think that when he go to the club and they playing his song, he thinks that he's better than people that he's really not.
And that's the thing. I don't know. This kind of that same conversation last week. Like, who says the club is the measure that? I guess
rappers, DJs,
right?
The people who pay for sections, all of those people.
No, okay. So we still talking about Jim Jones?
Think so.
Go ahead.
No, because I want to segue into what you just said.
Oh, go ahead.
I don't know if that's the bar anymore, though. I don't think that's when I read the impact of TikTok on music discovery. I don't think the club is
talk about
I don't think the club is
because that
the bar anymore for if a song is viral or popping or hot anymore. I think platforms like TikTok now dictate a song's virality, right? Because you asked a question about are DJs breaking records now,
right?
Or is TikTok breaking records?
I couldn't find the clip. There is a group of people who had the argument where someone younger was saying DJs do not break records no more. TikTok breaks records. And it was like 5 people in the room and they was going berserk, like debating both ends of the spectrum. But I don't know. I still feel like it's all, and someone in the room, which would have been me in that room, said, you got to kind of have some of both. So it's just, TikTok is another means of marketing, but if you think that you can just do TikTok and not do DJs or clubs, and you're doing, especially if you're doing hip hop, like I think you've got to know that the records really resonate with people. The problem with TikTok is you don't know what's genuine or what's manufactured. Because we know that labels will pay money to have influencers use music in order to drive that music into popularity.
I mean, but isn't that the same
it's cheaper
thing
than
that
commercials?
Isn't that the same thing they do with DJs and radio, though? They pay DJs and radio to play the song, to make the song viral. And
it's different though, because number one, it's cheaper. Number two,
but does being cheaper mean it's different?
Yeah.
It's
for example, cheaper. If I'm the label, which one am I going to pay for? Am I going to chase a DJ, or am I going to go get like a 20-year-old to do like a dance that I know that's going to get seen by 1.5 million followers that could potentially be all over the world, and they influence what other people do based on what I'm looking at from their engagement statistics.
But does cost make it different though? I think that's,
absolutely.
Does cost make it the action of that record being exposed? Does that make it different? Because I'm either gonna pay you at a DJ and you're gonna do the same thing.
Yeah, but I can get people all over the world for, let's just even call it the same price as a DJ in one city.
Mm-hmm.
So then, does price make a difference?
Well, the price makes a difference.
The reach is what matters.
The reach is,
and if I can get greater reach at the same monetary value, I'm gonna go with that every time. I don't know what the number is in terms of number of people on TikTok, but I like my chances better with on that than I would in a club
with half drunk people
in LA, where I know it's popping and I know there's probably 200 people in there, but that 200 people is nothing compared to potentially
1.5 million.
Yeah, or even in a night, 400,000 that might see it on a TikTok. So then, is TikTok winning? It's social media, period. Like, who's surviving without some kind of
social media marketing? So I think you got to do both. And I think also depending on your demographic. If you a kid, you can't even get into the club. You know what I'm saying? And most of your fans can't get into the club.
Right.
So you ain't even worried about the club. And a lot of times, we've seen this over the years, songs that pick up on the street, quote unquote, or outside of the club, and they make their way to the club because it's so popular.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, they were playing back in the day, they were playing Kirk Franklin in the club because Stomp got so popular. It got so big.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm sure they didn't.
People stomping in the club.
I'm sure they didn't service the club DJs at first, but at some point, it got so big, it kind of makes its way there. So I think this is kind of the same thing.
Get all the Q dogs in there.
Yeah, so I think at some point you're gonna have to, if you're an independent artist, you know, you got to figure out where your market is, where your audience is, and kind of focus there. But I think you gotta have a little bit of both. If you and not, you know, there's more than just club DJs. There's DJs do radio.
Yeah,
that radio shows.
There's internet DJs.
Yeah, so you want to you might not have a club song, but you want DJs to have your record though.
Right. DJs
that play your kind of music. You want them to know about your record.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you want to get exposed to as many people as possible.
Man, so on that same vein, and I don't know if a lot of independents even know that, because I had conversations with people, they were like, I never heard of that site. So there's a website called Yangaroo. You ever heard of this? Yangaroo?
No.
It's called Yangaroo, right?
That's a weird.
It's a weird name, but it's called, look at it, Yangaroo. And so in 2017, when I released my album, Overdose, that I had.
Talk about it.
Right? Dope R&B album. But so Yangaroo is the advertiser. They're a Canadian media content technology.
I knew it was in the US. I knew it was some kind of
foreign. Yeah. He said foreign. Technology company that offers a platform used by the advertising and music industries, award shows, and broadcasters for the management and distribution of advertising and entertainment content. So Yangaroo allows you to submit your body of work to radio stations all across the world.
Yangaroo, okay.
You pay a fee, right? So as an example, and they even allow you to put a press kit together to send out to the radio stations
Yangaroo
with your samples of your music, so that if they like it, they can pick it up and play it on their radio station. So for an example, if I wanted to hit all of the top 100 hip hop radio stations in the US, I can go to Yangaroo site, select that as the package. It'll show me a list of all the radio stations. And then I can say, yep, I want this one. Choose this for $250 or whatever the price is. Create my little press kit, right? My introduction. Hey, my name is B. Vaughn. I do music, blah, blah, blah. And it sends it out. Now, it doesn't guarantee it's going to get played.
Right.
But it's putting it in front of, right? We're saying they got to do both. This is a medium, right? For independence, this is a medium for you to use to be able to do that, right? You talked about you got to have at least some type of strategy how you're going to do this. If you're just like, oh, I'm just going to do on TikTok and put it on TikTok and that's what I'm going to do. You at least got to know about sites like this where you can spend some money and send it out to the radio stations. I actually had my album played on radio, which I was so like, what, really? Because you can go on there and look at all your analytics.
And to that point, though, there's so many different avenues you can go to get your. It's 2025. They got a service. They got, I know in the blog area, I don't know if we still got blogs, but they got services that can service your music to blogs without having to pay $1,000 a month, $1,500 a month for Publicists. You can go through little services to get in contact with like people that review music.
Put you on some game. And because we're here in Atlanta. There's a lady, and I'm gonna put it up because these are the services that they offer. So if you watch this video, this podcast, look up Tia Culver, Culver. That's what she does. She does promo for music. She sends out music email blasts to hundreds and thousands of people. Right? Y'all know Tampa Mystic.
The name sounds familiar.
Yeah, Mystics Entertainment. She runs what's to do with Shaw Cypher. They do like a radio. They actually have a radio show.
Oh, the white girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They actually have a radio
like
show.
That,
but I mean, that's how she's distinguished. She is white. But yeah, they have a radio show, and
she do interviews. You pay a fee and you do interview with her.
Yep, and you can get your song on the radio. Matter of fact, there's one of my homegirls. Now she is in Canada. Is she in Canada? Desiree, you in Canada? I don't know if you're in Canada. Her name is Desiree D. I don't know if she's in Canada or not. I got to go back and verify. But she is a brand ambassador, something with it's a DJ network that she's a
like
part
the
of.
Core DJs.
No, it's not Core DJs, but DJ Hershey is a part of Core DJs. So he can get your stuff on the radio, play it on the radio too. But I can't remember the name. She told me who it was. But it is a DJ network that also plays music. So you need both.
You got wax like back in the day.
Hey, right. I think you need. What was it? Now I got to think. When I don't think of what their organizations are, it bugs me because I'm like, what is the name of this thing? But I think they need both. Is TikTok breaking records for artists?
Probably so. I would say
absolutely.
It is big time.
There was only certain records I heard because it was on TikTok.
Well, think about it now. That TikTok has a satellite radio station. It's called TikTok Radio, and the only thing they play on that station is songs that have broken on TikTok.
Wow,
interesting.
Because this whole thing started because this whole conversation was around Donald Trump.
I was gonna say
extending the TikTok U.S. operations.
So if you're wondering
for
why
another
he keep
90
doing
days,
that,
right?
I have a plan. I'm gonna fix TikTok.
Right.
You love it badly. You love it badly. I'm gonna fix it. I promise.
It's gonna be big. One big. People think they have seen, but have never seen anything
they
like
want to cancel TikTok.
It's big.
Right. I mean, TikTok. It's gonna be badly. I love it badly.
Should you be using TikTok? 100%. That was a good impersonation, though. Yes. Should you be using TikTok? Yeah, for sure. Does TikTok break artists? Yeah, for sure.
I think so.
But here's the question:
is that the means to an end?
No. That was kind of no. I mean, because TikTok can give you virality, but it doesn't give you sustainability, right?
I think you could get sustainability.
Well,
but I think some people confuse one for the other. They think they come together,
and they don't.
You gotta put in the work. You gotta put in the work. Have a strategy and be consistent.
That's like what's the old boy song? Baby,
rich, whatever.
Yeah, that dude, right? That song was viral on TikTok. What the album do though?
Would
I don't know, man. I didn't like that song.
That album did
corn chip.
Corn chips, bro. That thing was flakes, the bread flakes.
Yeah,
it did not do
and that's where consistency matters too, because a lot of what the feedback was that there were no other songs on the album that sounded like that.
Nope.
So
and that song took off, and it took off because they leaked it, but they actually played it on TikTok. Before it was released
on some streaming something.
Yeah. I got a video.
It might have been Twitch.
I got a video I'm recording this weekend about that. We talked about. I don't know if you were here at the time, but we talked about the power. Did we talk about the
streamers?
Power? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The power streamers.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm about to dive into that more. I already got I already scripted out and everything. I just got to sit in front of this camera and actually record it. But yeah, there's TikTok discoverability. It is something that the both of you, I'm gonna say the both of you, but artists need. They need TikTok. They need DJs. Do they need radio?
I think you need. Well,
I think you need any.
I don't know if you need it, but I think you should use everything at your disposal.
I think you should.
And radio is still relevant.
Still relevant.
Still relevant. Both satellite and regular
and terrestrial. Yeah, I think you should use it.
Don't ignore that.
No,
nope. They still got AM, FM. You might be laughing when I say that, but they play music on AM radio. Still. They do, man.
It was just so crazy. I haven't listened to AM.
Yeah, there used to be a couple dope college radio stations from right here in Atlanta that were on AM.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I was a college radio
DJ.
So
easy to get.
I have my own Christian hip hop radio show at University of Michigan back in 2000, 2001. So I come from that.
You playing gospel gangsters?
Gospel gangsters. Well, it was heavy cross movement. Here's the thing, it was weird because
grits and cross movement.
That's when I learned radio. Even then, though, I could only play a certain amount of songs that I had. I had to play stuff that was the radio station had.
Program director.
And in order for me to get the cross movement, I had to write the cross movement records a letter, tell them to send the music to the station so they can and they can approve it. Then I had to play a certain. So I play a lot of Christian rock music. I played oh man, what was their names? But it was from Christian. I had to play. It was Christian metal because that's all they had. Christian. Because I only played nothing but gospel music back then. So it was either Christian metal or gospel gangsters or cross movement. I played cross movement, gospel gangster.
Yeah,
True Life. Yeah,
True Life. Yeah, True Life. True Life. I'm sure 100% True Life is the one who's, unless it was his people who send it back to you. But
True Life was my favorite member of the cross movement.
My favorite member of cross movement, not to get into the whole thing, is Ambassador. Deuce, you know it. You already know, Deuce. You already know that he's my favorite. So
he had a dope solo album.
Oh yeah. Oh, your Thesis?
That was dope.
See, I know. Why do I know all of this?
But True Life was my guy because he was a producer as well.
Yeah. And
I always let a producer. I'm a producer. He produced. And he left the group for a while. Now it's heartbroken, but then he came back to the group.
We gotta tell this. Y'all gotta tell this story. I'm tired of y'all not telling this story. So
it was True Life and
really happened.
True Life, Fanatic.
They were my favorite.
Ambassador. I mean, there was a whole bunch more though. Earthquake. Cruz Cordero.
No, Enoch is the one who died, right?
No. I think Earthquake died.
Was it Enoch? Okay. That was Enoch.
No, Enoch didn't. Enoch is. Oh, maybe it was Enoch.
I think it was Enoch.
I think it was Enoch. Yeah. I think Enoch died. Cruz Cordero. They were like the beginning.
I forget about
Cruz Cordero.
I forgot about Cruz Cordero.
You forget about Cruz Cordero.
He was dope.
Cruz Cordero was dope. That whole House of Representative video was.
I forgot about Cruz Cordero. Wow.
And the only reason why I know, and not to put all my business out there, is because two of my closest homies were the main producers for Cross Movement. So Hot Productions. That's why I'm like, y'all got to tell y'all story.
Who?
So Hot. JR and Nav.
Oh, JR, okay.
Yeah, JR and Nav. Yeah. They were the duo for
Didn't one of them pass away too?
No.
Okay.
Dude, y'all, they did not.
If I kill everybody else.
Oh, man. That'll be heartbreaking. Because those are like.
I thought one of the producers passed away from Cross Movement.
Fish. DJ Official did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Fish passed. DJ Official passed. And he was one of the main producers for Cross Movement too.
Yeah. Okay. I know I'm not crazy.
Yeah, no. You ain't crazy. No, you were talking about So Hot. But I know JR and Nav. Because I talked to them. I talked to Nav a couple days ago. But those two of my closest homies are JR and Nav, who produced a lot of stuff for Flame, Cross Movement, Lecrae, Trip Lee. Matter of fact, JR produced Lecrae's driving with my top down, listening to this Jesus music. That, hey.
See, I kind of broke away right around.
That was when Lecrae first started.
Yeah. When they had the 112 click?
Yeah.
That was kind of like the last of me being in Christian music. That was kind of the last little wave.
Yeah, that was Tadashi.
When they first came out.
Trip Lee.
When they first came out. Because they had the whole, because they did an idea that I always wanted to do. They did they had I think songs based off Bible books.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite albums that they did.
I was gonna do that.
I had a mission. I wanted to do the whole Bible. I wanted to do the whole Bible.
Yo, that's crazy.
A series of albums. I wanted to have like a Genesis album where every chapter would be a song. Like I had this all mapped out. And when they did, I'm like, oh, I wanted to do that.
That mug was dope.
That's
my homie Nabs on that album.
I couldn't have did it, but when they did that, I was like, And I was a youth minister at the time, so I used to always give away music. So that was kind of like their the 112 click first album. I used to get out of the way.
No, 116.
I knew it was something like that. I don't know, man. I forget. That was a whole
Romans 116.
A whole nother like,
but yeah,
a whole nother Brian. That was a whole nother world.
Whole nother Brian.
Yeah, but I remember that. But Cross Movement though, them jokers, man, that had such a strong impact on me. Like
me too, because
a strong impact. Freshman year in college when I discovered Cross Movement. Freshman year in college.
Yeah.
And that first album where they were standing outside with the Timbalands on.
What you know about this? Huh? What?
No.
Oh,
that's like the second or third album. No, that wasn't the first album was like way underground.
Oh yeah.
It's a Thriller in Manila. Jesus Christ.
Yes, sir.
That was the first album right there. That was
anyway, we talking about Cross Movement and everything.
They had a big like all the Lecrae and stuff, all that. Now Cross Movement was like
Cross Movement doesn't exist anymore.
You know what I'm saying? But it wouldn't be no like Lecrae.
It wouldn't be Movement. You wouldn't have Lecrae.
And even I don't want to go
Cross Movement.
I want to go on my soapbox now, but I'm gonna leave it at that.
I want to know what his soapbox is. We ain't got to talk about it right now, but I do want to know
right there
off camera. But
I do want to know what that is.
Cross Movement, they were my guys, man. They like I rock with them heavy, man.
Yeah, Cross Movement.
Cross Movement. They I hated that song. What you know about this? What? I hated that song.
Let's stick to the text. Oh my God, that was my jam.
That's when they started to fall off and they started to try to embrace other styles of rap.
That was my jam right there.
Good album though. Album was dope.
Yeah.
But that single.
Deuce is my favorite rapper out of.
He like them. What? I'm like, what are y'all
actually
doing?
Fanatic is a dope.
Fanatic was my favorite rapper.
Even though Fanatic is no longer a believer.
He not?
No.
Get out of here.
No, Fanatic walked away from Christianhood.
The Fanatic.
Oh wow. Yeah. Go look on YouTube. You'll see the whole video.
That's the reason why I don't take a lot of that Christian stuff serious no more, man, because jokers, they're not serious. They just this is the reason why. See, I never stopped being. I'm still a believer. Like I would never stop. I would never denounce my belief in my Lord and Savior. But it's just funny how these people who were so gun ho with judging everybody now they don't believe no more.
He's like, I see you.
He's like, I see you.
Yeah, I see that.
But it's all over YouTube. You can go look.
No, I didn't want to look at it.
Man. He did a whole video.
I don't want nothing Joe got to say now.
Trust me, we watched it. We looked at it. We called each other, had conversations about it. We were like, "What you think about this?" And then it was.
But he was the most
wow.
To my judgmental. Here's the thing. I don't want to get too about the church, but
don't get me talking about the judgmental thing because
here's the thing though, because I was a part of
because it's biblical. But anyway,
I was a part of a certain group of churches known as the Charismatic, and a lot of people in that camp would judge us. It was really weird because they would judge our church and our belief system. You know, with the whole faith healing and all that, and the prosperity teachers, they would judge us heavily and say we weren't real Christians. Real heavy. But it was weird though. But if you had a bag for them, they'll come perform at the church. So if you had a bag,
see now you're like y'all hypocrites.
They'll show up,
right?
Trust me, because I had the budgets. I was booking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But again,
this reminds me of something that I heard today with Kirk Franklin. And I was like, you know what?
Well, a lot of that,
that's
hypocritical, man. A lot of that's hypocritical. And like I said, my story is well documented. Well, I'm not famous, but people who know me, my friends know my story real well. People who know me know that I was a youth minister and I literally walked away. Not for my belief. I've never stopped being a Christian ever, but I walked away from the organized church. I couldn't take it no more. I kind of walked away. But I've never stopped being a believer. How could you ever say you were a believer in the first place if you just not believe one day? That's kind of weird to me.
Oh, You know,
It's kind of
actually, it does happen though.
No, it happens a lot.
It happens a lot.
These people who get to these high positions in Christianity.
It happens a lot.
Like the guy who wrote the book, like he's dating goodbye. You know, he wrote a book about like not having sex till marriage and about how you're not supposed to have a girlfriend and all this stuff, or boyfriend and all this. He the biggest person against Christianity now, and it's crazy to me.
It happens.
That's the reason why you can't rely on these big mega people in the Christian world, because they be hypocrites all the time in these churches, man. They feed you all this stuff, and a lot of the times,
your feet going off over there. Look, he adjusted himself. He adjusted himself. He like, I'm ready.
There's a show called The Righteous Gemstones on HBO Max. Amazing show. Amazing.
That's the one with the funny, super funny guy.
Yeah.
With the country.
Yeah.
I be seeing the clips.
Amazing show, but it's so true to life about how a lot of these mega church families, people, they don't really, it's all a money grab. They don't really be
sometimes it's just a money grab.
Not saying not all, but a lot.
No, so I'm saying sometimes
that show depicts, because this family a hot mess. They be cussing and
sometimes
and
it is a money. It is a money grab,
and it's like a lot of that permeates the church, and it's ridiculous.
So let me ask you, not to get into the whole, the whole conversation about church and organized religion and all that, but if I knew that an easy way to make money was to become a pastor, start a church, preach the good news of Jesus Christ, right? And do that and be real, like, yo, Jesus Christ, and just be real raw with it and not believe a single thing. How often does that happen? I'm sure it happens often. I'm just being honest. I'm sure it happens often, which is why, and then we can talk about one of these other ones, but which is why I believe that there's going to come the time when God deals with his church. And he's going to wreck some shop with the people who call themselves
But if those
believers.
people aren't real believers.
So he gonna come in and be like, yeah, I'm separating. Me and you, we're going to have some words. I believe that cleansing of the house is going to take place. Those people who are standing in those pulpits who claim to be Christians and who claim to be pastors, who have a higher level of responsibility for leading the flock,
right? You're
going to have a lot to answer to when you and Jesus are being face to face. When he comes to clean house, because you've led the sheep astray for your own personal gain. But anyway, that's another.
What if they're not leading people astray, but they are not genuine?
If you're not genuine leading people astray. Yeah, I don't think there's another way around that.
Still be like teaching from the Bible. They're not genuine, but like you said, they're doing it to make the money.
Yeah, nah.
And the more they lean into it, the more money they can make. Because you know why?
Because your doctrine starts to become wishy-washy, and you start to preach things that are good to hear and that tickle the ear, and that aren't really doctrinally, biblically grounded and
supported.
Yeah. I see. I can get this whole. Nah. Like, you see this book over here? You see what that book? See that book right there? What that book say? Systematic Theology. Okay, that book is 1,000+ pages. I just got it a couple days ago. I gotta go. That's the book I'm reading.
Let me say this too. This is very prevalent to this podcast because a huge segment of Christian music is independent. Huge segment, because there's really no barrier to entry.
Right.
If you talk about God, the church will accept anybody. If you're talking about Jesus, come on in. So I know now.
At first they didn't.
Now the music industry is really open anyway. But back in the day, especially for Christian artists, well, if for progressive churches, churches who understood, hey, the kids like it, whatever. You a failed rapper mainstream? Let me go to Christian world because they gonna accept me. I could be whack.
But did that.
If the message is right, come on in.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? Did that. See, I don't know, but I ain't up on current. But my point is like, it's a relevant topic. So if y'all think it's not relevant, it's a lot of
it's 100% relevant.
A heavy percentage of the independent, especially hip hop independent, are quote unquote Christian artists.
For sure.
So don't think we just. Otherwise, I would have been say, all right, let's move on. But I know it's a big segment of
100%
independent artists. A lot of y'all do inspirational / Christian music. So.
Gospel/inspirational.
Right.
That's,
yeah. Shout out to BET.
Shout out to BET.
But that's another thing, though. That's another thing. I was going to say earlier, I'm still not going to really get into it, but it's so watered down now because you had the cross movement. They were like gun ho. Like now it's kind of like even the messages is watered down. Even the standards are watered down.
Yeah.
It really is. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and I'm not saying that they were necessarily right to be so gun ho back in the day. But some of the stuff now is like, wow, you know, because it's like I said, it's a fine line. Like, oh man, we don't get into it because
look, maybe that's an episode we could do. Maybe we
remember when D1 and Lecrae was going at it.
Yeah.
You know,
and they both believers.
Like, yeah, and it's kind of like I don't like D1 calling on people, but I do think he was kind of right with what he said about Lecrae. But again, we can talk about that a little later.
That's probably an episode we got to talk about. But
I don't know, man.
Let's talk about. This is probably going to be the last one, right? Because there's two of them. Which one you want to talk about? Y'all want to talk about? Y'all want to talk about the Tyler Perry being sued for $260 million, or you want to talk about?
I don't like how Joe Budden came for Tyler Perry though. Joe Budden, your legacy, you becoming a hater, bro. Well, I'm sorry. You've been a hater. You started your whole podcast, but it's like that's gonna be your legacy, bro. As a hater, you don't want that to be your legacy. It's to be just a hater.
So you want to talk about that, or you want to talk about?
Well, we don't have to.
Oh wait, or you want to talk about these?
Because that's not really music.
This hip hop list that no, the R&B 75.
I feel like that might be a whole episode.
The list,
the 75,
because there's so many lists.
There's so many lists,
but I think
that have come out in just like the last 6 months.
But yes. Ty, you made the topic. That was you, Ty.
Yeah.
Okay, because I always say you on to something when you say. Again, it's up to you to talk about it now, but you on to something when you say it's all for clicks.
Let's talk about it.
It's really for clicks though, because it's sort of like a trick for social media. If y'all didn't know this, an easy trick to get engagement is to say something wild.
Say something wild.
Or say crazy. Or say something incorrect. Say a lot of good. Put your message on there, right? Say one thing that you know is not right. Is the fact that
because you know people
they gonna correct you.
Yes.
And now you got engagement now.
Yeah.
That's a little. It's the oldest trick in the social media book. Just say something. But I think it's a clickbait though.
Yeah, I think I literally made up a new term. I said click debate.
Click debate. I saw that. I was like, oh, click debate.
Click debate.
It'll drive engagement.
Yo,
it's going to drive it. It's going to drive engagement.
Yeah, because that's literally
an engagement going to lead to money.
That's
yes,
right.
Sir.
And so I think you look at these.
That's
lists,
the name of this segment. Click
debate.
We need to have like the last thing we talk about is the click debate. That's a bar right there.
Yeah,
it's true.
I was like, I think I might have stumbled on this
click debate.
Oh, you better go get your attorney.
But
get my trademark.
That's right.
Not a problem.
But they got these lists. But so y'all know what we're talking about, right? Billboard put out this greatest R&B artist list, right? And then it just went into a whole bunch of things with Tank, who's supposed to be the authority on R&B. He's the authority on R&B.
And it was his crew came to his defense and was like, he got disrespected on that list.
He got disrespected because they put Tank. Where's the list? Let me go find the list. They put Tank where on the list?
In the 30s.
In the 30s, right?
Let me see.
Here we go. Top 75 R&B artists.
I don't know who ahead of him. I'm not an authority on R&B at all, so I'm going to defer to y'all. But I'm just curious as to who's ahead of him. Because that
what makes an authority? What makes someone an authority on R&B?
Or are you a fan? In other words, like I don't have no accolades in hip hop, but I think I'm a hip hop head, so I can. In my mind, I'm a hip hop authority. My own little mind.
So where's Tank? Tank's not in the top 10. I know that.
But
no. He's nowhere near.
He's not the top 10.
But I mean,
you know who's in the top 10?
Okay,
Martin Gaye. Okay,
Marvin Gaye.
No, Martin. For what they went crazy when they saw, they were like Martin Gaye.
They spelled his name.
They was like, we now know who works at Billboard.
Wow.
Okay.
Who proofreads though, bro?
Nobody.
They put Martin Gaye.
Martin Gaye.
He said,
where is Tank? But so there. Dang, where is Tank on here?
I'm telling you, I think he was in the.
Nah, I'm in the 40s already.
No, I don't think he was that low. But I think I saw the post he made.
Bro, I'm going through the list. I do not see.
Then there's another list. Forbes did the 50 greatest rappers of all time. There's
between Forbes, Billboard, and Complex, they won the race for all this click debate, right? Them three.
For the click debate.
All the click debate.
They want all the click debate.
Intentionally just creating
Double XL be doing their list like
they do. Everybody got a list. Yeah, hold up. I don't see. Okay, I'm already at Mariah Carey, R. Kelly, Marvin Gaye. Okay. Usher at number 12. Okay. Yep. Al Green at 18. Smokey at 19. Otis Donnie. Luther. I'm mad I put Luther at 22 though. But I understand the criteria that they use.
Yeah, Billboard might be different. Billboard is probably going by numbers, probably.
Yeah, Billboard.
So that's a little more objective.
Yeah. So they have, and I understand why Luther would be lower on the category. So I'm not upset. I'm not actually upset about that because Luther doesn't actually have a lot of Grammys and stuff like that. So I get that. A lot of his albums didn't even really chart. And so I get that. No, bro. I'm in 31. Anita Baker is at 31, y'all. Anita Baker.
Not in my opinion, but I think.
Not in my opinion. But when you look at all the things that they looked at from a criteria perspective, then she probably is that low. I do want to know what number you are, Tank, because I do like Tank as a singer, as a singer today. And so I'm at 15. That's John Legend. I don't see Tank in here at all. Not yet. Fantasia's 59. Okay. I'm already in the 60s, bro. 67. They put Tank at 67.
But was that the list he was talking about though?
This is the Billboard top 75 R&B artists. This is the one that they came out and was releasing. The last 10 came out yesterday. That's what we're talking about, right?
Doing it in segments.
They were doing it in segments. Yeah. So the last 10 got revealed yesterday.
Okay.
And that's where you got Stevie Wonder as number 1 and Aretha Franklin as number 2.
This was the clip.
To do a top 75 R&B artists.
Now this is Tank's manager,
I take that back.
Jay Valentine.
R&B
I know.
Of all time. They got Tank at number 67. 67, that's plain bullshit. Hey, dog. Plain bullshit. I don't know if I seen.
So what's the criteria? Can you tell us the criteria?
Yeah, I sure can.
Maybe we need that context.
Sure, because that's the thing. It is the criteria that was used to do this.
Because Stevie Wonder was number 1.
Let me go to it.
And he had a run though back with the albums. Yeah, he had top albums.
All right, here we go. It says, in the end, Billboard staffers agreed on the following criteria.
Oh, they made sure that they put highlighted that it was staffers that made this list.
Yeah, they agreed.
Not media.
Yeah. Billboard, people who work at Billboard.
Yeah.
Vocal prowess, body of work, career longevity, industry achievements, game-changing influence, and enduring generational/cultural impact. Now, Mr. Number 67, maybe I deserve, right?
Yeah, when you think
about career longevity, industry achievements, I don't know how many Grammys, BET Awards, AMAs Tank actually has.
He has some, but not.
Has Tank ever done anything that's game-changing, influencing within the culture of R&B? Does he have any enduring generational/cultural impact?
You know what?
I don't know. I got to look it up.
He has endured generations.
I'm with Tidal. This might be holding the show because I would love to just name them. Like, okay.
All 75?
Like no. I'm saying as far as Tank did think go. Okay. I think Keith Sweat is right below him, right? 66.
Yeah.
Is Tank better than Keith Sweat? I mean, just go one more. Is he better than like is he higher than Keith Sweat? I say no.
Don't Keith Sweat got Grammys though?
I put Keith Sweat higher than Tank.
He is higher than Tank.
Tina Marie. I mean, I ain't saying we gotta do it now.
But should Tina Marie and Tank even be that close to each other?
Well, I mean, and they're in way different.
You see what I'm saying?
I'm putting Tina Marie ahead of Tank.
They way in.
Me too, but I don't even know if they would be that close.
They're way in different generations.
I'm just going by their list.
We're talking about 70.
Tina Marie is 65. So
yeah,
she's 65.
This is a nasty list because it's like 40 years worth of music there.
Yeah.
Music Soul Child 63. I put Tank ahead of Music Soul Child. Personally.
Ooh, you put Tank in front of Music Soul Child?
I would.
No.
I'm not sure.
No.
Music Soul Child, I think, has more hits than Tank.
Music Soul Child botched the national anthem in front of Michael Jordan.
Man, that man came with receipts.
But he has more. But
ever since then, he been not long.
Yeah, but he has more hits than Tank. He has probably more.
Anthony
he's
Hamilton.
probably written more.
Anthony Hamilton ahead of Tank, below Tank.
Anthony Hamilton better be below Music Soul Child.
He's not.
What number?
62.
That's some.
We should do a whole episode
debate
of just going through.
That's what I'm saying. We could do that.
And talk about it, right?
Anthony Hamilton has like 4 albums, maybe.
I mean,
so what generations has he transcended? How 60, has he?
61.
Would you
Ashanti.
put Fantasia? Would you put Fantasia over Ashanti?
I saw that. I put everybody who was on that list over Ashanti. I saw that there were people, everybody under Ashanti should be irate.
I agree. Let me stop.
And no disrespect to Ashanti, she is what she is, and she's good at what she do. There's a segment of my teenage years, I think. No, I might have been a young adult that she carved out. Because Murder Inc. was doing it real big. I mean, every song, every Ja Rule song, every Ja Rule Ashanti collab. I mean, she was doing her thing. But it's certain people that you respect what they did, but you know that they're not doing it at the same level as other people. So for her to be above like true singers who've had careers that have spanned. Tank at least can say his career has spanned decades. He was hot in the early 2000s. He is still relevant today, and that's 20-some years from his starting date. Ashanti don't have no new music that you've heard that makes her relevant beyond like 2016 or 2014 or something like that. For her to be above him on a list.
She a great singer, though. That's another question.
And she not a great singer.
But look, hold on, wait.
What about People Bryson? He 50, that's 50. We can go through every
Bryson, he can sing though.
Is he ahead
but
of
it
Tank?
ain't just about singing.
Is he ahead of Tank? Yes or no?
But okay, so you know
yes
that.
No, is Peebo Bryson
ahead of Tank?
I don't know. I'm not that big of an R&B fan to really tell you.
Is Peebo above?
You know though, because you even you know. She like Peebo, really? Peebo.
57. Tevin Campbell. He had a Tank? I say yes. I put him ahead of Tank.
Can we? But that was Tevin Campbell's only hit.
You know, tomorrow will bring.
No.
Yeah, Tevin Campbell had like 3 albums.
But
hey, I'm ready for it.
And all on the same album.
All on the same album. But Can We Talk was the.
To my ears, I'm taking Tevin Campbell over Tank. It's to my musical taste. I played him more before I played Tank.
For their cultural impact.
I play Tank more than I played Tevin Campbell. But
for their cultural impact, you have to say Tevin Campbell.
Kevin Campbell will have it over Tank.
Tevin Campbell has,
even
with that Minimowski discography of
56,
his.
Joe. What about Joe? Ahead of Tank?
Yeah, I put Joe ahead of Tank. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Baby, where you at? Oh, yeah, I'll put Joe absolutely
55, Natalie Cole. I'm putting her ahead of Tank.
I'll put her ahead of
Tank. All right, Tank, come on, bro.
I mean, Tank. I mean, you got Jasmine Sullivan.
54. Slightly ahead of Tank.
Bust the windows in your car.
I'm a fan of. I like female singers better than male singers for the most part. So I'll probably put. They probably equal in terms of impact. Probably.
What I put Tank at? I'm not sure if Jasmine Sullivan has more of a cultural impact than Tank though.
You're probably right. Just my preference.
Yeah, I don't think.
Jill Scott 53 ahead of Tank. Yep.
Yep. Stephanie Mills?
Absolutely ahead of Tank.
Say Jill Scott should be ahead of Jasmine Sullivan. How and why? With what?
Jasmine Sullivan.
The Roots Picnic? What we talking about here? Jasmine Sullivan is a more, I mean,
look,
Jasmine Sullivan is considered one of probably the top 5 female vocalists in the last 20 years. Jasmine Sullivan, stop playing.
Yeah. Because Jasmine she got some
Jasmine, Fantasia, Brandy, like
why you keep putting Fantasia in there?
Fantasia is an amazing vocalist.
Now 51 is way too low.
Why Fantasia beat like 1,300 other people.
I'm getting upset now. Rick James 51 is a travesty.
I know some other people who beat some other people
James
too, but they ain't good.
2051. He at least beat.
But his cultural impact.
Cultural impact?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Even if it's
cultural
negative,
impact,
he
he's
saved
probably top
Motown.
20.
Even if it's negative,
He said Motown.
Rick James said cocaine was a hell of a drug, and I've never forgot that. His cultural influence is.
I mean, they making whole skits about this dude. I mean, ask
Rick
Dave.
James
should be
can't
top 20.
51, bro.
Ask Dave. Well, oh, wait, are you
People
saying
like
that,
Rick James,
wait.
Marvin Gaye, they definitely should
Are
be
you saying
top
51 is too low for Rick James?
He should be
Yes,
high.
I think it's too low for
Yeah,
Rick James.
it's too low.
He should be high.
I think it's too low. I think that's a too low, but because he's right below John Legend.
That's disrespect.
Super disrespect.
That's disrespect.
He's right.
John Legend should be somewhere near Tank.
49, Bobby Brown. 49, too low.
But Bobby Brown was like the king, but too low.
That's too low.
That's the king of
Bobby Brown's
New
top
Jack
25
Swing right there.
That's
a whole movement that was right there.
48. Lauren Hill's not even.
You only
all
got
the way
one
R&B singer.
album.
Why is she 48? She's not even real. She's not even a full-time R&B singer. She rap.
My man said she is not a full-time.
She's not.
That's a bar. You know, you're absolutely right. Her album had both.
So how
She had one album. Well, she had two albums technically.
What
Fuji's album is
Unplugged with the feet up.
the MTV Unplugged. She sang songs that were original, so
We get it. No.
we could constitute it. But either way,
No.
Look, we're gonna have
I know
to
she's-
come back to this list.
her cultural impact.
D'Angelo
47, The Weeknd, 47, The Weeknd, R&B.
above Tank,
Weekend,
but the Weeknd had more.
He's not even R&B.
He's not. I don't think he's R&B. He's
And what has he done for us culturally?
No.
42.
what he's done for Canada though.
Rihanna the
Yeah.
best singer, is she?
I mean, well, if you really think about it,
Locally?
if you wait. Now let's go back. If you think about the Weeknd spawned a whole genre by himself.
What, the emo kind of?
No, the alternative type of R&B, the P R&B, PB.
Oh yeah, with the one album with Jim Carrey.
Yeah, it was like he spawned a whole type of
He kind of did.
genre himself
He be singing.
that other people. I can fall into that same
a
type
little
of
bit.
genre.
A little bit, he did.
I think D'Angelo too low too. 45. I think D'Angelo should be a little bit higher.
D'Angelo's top 25.
SZA 44. Dionne Warwick 43. Here's the thing though, we keep putting all these people in the top. We got to figure out who in the top. We should do one. We should not saying that we some kind of authority, but just so we can be clear.
Authority!
So we can be clear though on what our opinions are.
I think it would be dope if we took their list and fixed the order.
We should do that.
Because if we make our own,
We
we might even have people that they didn't have on their list.
We
I was
should
gonna
do
say,
that.
That'd be way harder to do.
Can we insert people?
We can probably insert people.
But we should only give
Billboard.
ourselves a certain number of inserts.
'Cause I
We
know,
only get like 5 inserts.
because I know Coco better be on here from SWV. She should be on here somewhere. If
With
she
John,
not-
But
with
if
John
she
B.
she might be considered as a group member, so they might not have put her on there.
she had she had a solo
I
album.
don't think Coco's on that list.
She had a
No,
gospel album.
they don't have groups.
But for me, vocally, she's like top 10 to me.
Yeah.
Coco is.
They have only just the artists by themselves.
Well,
Mad at that.
female top 10 for sure.
Yeah,
Female. Overall, Coco she's my favorite singer. Well, her and Kim Burrell are my two favorite female singers. Period.
Brandy's the Bible, but I'm not mad
Brandy's
at.
up there, but
I'm not mad at.
Brandy's
Coco.
up there,
for my preference,
Brandy's what? But what?
but she ain't the pinnacle.
Oh my God!
for my preference,
Brandy's not the pinnacle
my preference is Kim Burrell, Coco.
of female R&B singers.
You saying who better than Brandy?
As a female R&B singer,
I'll give you Kim Burrell. That's it.
Brandy top 5.
as a
sure.
singer.
Oh, okay.
Top 5 for sure.
Top 3, 2, 1. Who's better than Brandy?
This is
Stop
like
playing.
this is like we're going to do that
Let's
Ti
be
thing.
serious. Can we be serious? This is
I'd
literally
rather-
for R&B females.
I'd rather have Coco sing than Brandy, personally.
No, you tweaking. It's a
As a
thing. There's a
singer?
thing in Coco's voice
my
that's like,
opinion.
it's a little bit.
A little bit, but I like
Yeah.
it.
You know whose voice I loved, and then when I heard their album, I was like, yo, I can't listen to that for a whole album. Kelly Price. Coco's got that kind of thing.
No,
Kelly.
Kelly.
It's not the same, but I'm saying they have like a texture to their voice. It's
As
like
a
very
singer.
whiny that you love it
She's top
in a
5.
song, but not in an album. It's too much. Who? Brandy?
Absolutely top
But tell
5.
me who's better than Brandy.
As a singer?
Coco. I just told you.
Yeah, I'm saying. I wanna see
Are we?
because,
Are we?
like
Are
you
we
said,
just?
if we insert
are we
people,
just
we have to
saying-
insert Coco because she's not on there at all.
I mean,
like
does
who
Brandy,
would you?
does Brandy sing
No,
better
but-
than?
But Coco don't have
The only person I would give you is Kim
No,
Burrell. That's
Does
it.
Brandy sing better than Whitney?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Not even close.
Brandy and Whitney
no,
got songs
sir.
together. She
You
got
can have
smoked
songs
like
together.
a
No.
She smoked like a pack of cools.
Yeah, she dominated.
Come on,
Vocally?
man. Just because Whitney could belt don't mean she had
vocally.
She got the style,
Her range,
the texture,
her tonality.
What range and tonality? There's nobody better than Brandy, man.
Anita Baker.
Jasmine Sullivan is a very close proximity.
Anita top 10. No, Anita top 10 for me.
Yeah, Anita is definitely top 10.
Anita,
bro, don't.
Bro, you tripping?
Watch
you
yourself.
tweaking up?
Watch this.
All right, ladies and gentlemen,
watch yourself.
No.
Name me 10 female R&B singers better than Anita.
You don't even
Name
have
me
to
10.
go back
Brandy.
far. Brandy, Jasmine Sullivan, Kiki Wyatt. Her is a better singer.
No.
Pause.
I ain't talking about just
I'm talking about overall.
Overall.
I'm talking about music that you were playing in your car that you would listen to. Kiki Wyatt ahead of Anita Baker. You
she sings better than Anita Baker.
Yeah,
I'm talking about better music.
it's not even close.
Better music and
Kiki Wyatt make better music than Anita
she
Baker.
can sing better than her.
I'm talking about overall better music.
No, sir.
If we talk
And
about
singer.
the full encompassment of the list, you're
No,
right.
just in general.
You're right. You're right.
I'm talking about the full.
You're
Yeah,
right.
They
If you're
definitely don't
talking
have
about the
music
full,
better than
you're
Anita
right.
Baker.
Anita Baker spans decades. She done cleaned more people's houses than
And she would still clean your house.
than Molly made. Yeah, 100%.
Still today.
Yeah, but she's not a great vocalist though. Let's not
No.
construe
Let's not
this.
get it twisted.
That's a different list.
Let's not get it twisted.
That's a different list.
Let's not get it
But
twisted.
she is not a phenomenal vocalist. She is a combination of a beautiful vocal style and amazing songs, which some of the people that may be on the list, we can't say that for.
Yeah, that's why I say
so we
as
have to
much as
give
I
her
love
credit
Coco,
for that.
I can't put Coco in there.
For example, I love Sade, but do I think she's a great vocalist? No, she got.
I don't think she's a great vocalist either.
And amazing songs. I would put her and Anita in very similar categories because that music has spanned lifetimes.
I'm taking Anita ahead of Sade though.
I
Maybe
would
put Anita ahead of Sade.
Sorry, maybe, but
I would too, but
Look,
I think that they're
gentlemen.
in that same category.
nah.
Like, who do you put next to Whitney Houston in?
In the same categories, Whitney?
Kim Burrell.
Like, if you was doing a top 5 of Whitney Houston competition,
I'm gonna put Kim Burrell next to Whitney.
I
Houston.
wouldn't put Kim Burrell. I think that's a different kind.
Cause gospel.
No,
Nah.
Kim's vocal ability is insane,
Whitney.
and I don't think that Whitney's
Whitney's is insane.
No, it's not.
She's cool.
Yeah,
No,
bro.
cool.
I'm gonna put Kim Burrell.
Hold on, you know who I put with Whitney? Mariah.
Yeah, you got to.
Same kind of vocalist, but neither one of them doing what Kim Burrell doing.
I'm gonna put.
When you say they doing what they do, like runs and
even the
runs don't mean you're a good singer.
It's the tone, it's the ability, and
To
then
do
even
what?
the-
Ability
to
to do
sing
what?
Nah, bro, Kim Burrell.
Kim
I'm
Burrell
not saying
is
that.
different.
Kim Burrell is an amazing vocalist.
different.
I'm not saying that she's not.
So is Brandy. They have a tone, and a texture that's not matched, except for Jasmine Sullivan. It's not matched.
But texture doesn't always mean you're a great vocalist.
It
Tone
doesn't.
doesn't always mean you're a great vocalist.
Sade and Anita Baker have amazing smooth textures, but they're not the same level of vocal. They don't have the same vocal talent as Kim.
Yeah, but I don't
or
think
Brandy.
But I don't think Brandy has that big of a vocal prowess.
Wow,
Nah, Brandy does, bro.
Not at the level of Whitney
I'm not even an
Houston.
R&B guy. I'm not even an R&B guy.
Mariah Carey is a great comparative for Whitney
No,
Houston.
sir, not at the level.
Mariah and Whitney are not the same. They are amazing vocalists, not to be played with, but they not Kim and Brandy.
I'm
Brandy, and Jasmine.
gonna put Whitney ahead of Mariah Carey.
I gotta put Whitney ahead of Mariah Carey just because of the prowess this woman
I'm gonna
has
have
in
to
her
put
voice.
Mariah ahead of Whitney because
Maybe
And I grew up on
Mariah
Brandy,
can sing
listening to Brandy,
2 more octaves than like every other human on the planet.
singing that
I'm
many
talking
octaves
overall,
don't make
yeah.
it that great of a singer. Look, we're gonna have to
But
do our
that's
list.
in addition to
We're gonna have to
her
do-
singing ability, and especially if we're talking about impact.
And where's
Mariah Carey should have been number 1 on the list.
No,
if we're talking about
so here's
impact,
the thing. So where's Brandy on the list?
she's number 1.
No, on Billboard.
Nah, she ain't number one on this list.
So
That's you put T.I. on the top of the hip hop list too,
and he wasn't even on that list. That's right. That's my point. I think Brandy was,
but I should tell you,
where was Brandy? I don't know.
She's down 41.
That's absolute disrespect.
Brandy's on 41.
Absolute
disrespect. I would say that's disrespectful though.
Absolute disrespect, bro.
But then
Brandy been singing since she was 12. She's been on 35 TV shows.
But when you look at
she is part of our culture.
Okay. All right,
when you look at the totality,
no,
her versus other,
because
the span.
She been singing on Aaliyah, TV. We grew up watching
Aaliyah
Brandy.
Is right ahead of her.
Aaliyah is right ahead of her.
So should she be ahead of Brandy?
No,
I would say yeah for Impact.
No,
Aaliyah
Impact
ahead of Brandy.
Aaliyah can't sing as good as Brandy.
I would say for Impact, yes.
Impact, Aaliyah.
Brandy's done like 15 movies. Aaliyah's done 2.
That's
Brandy's done like 13 TV shows
Ty,
that were for
that's
us.
okay.
Impact to the culture.
Ty, rest in peace. Aaliyah died 25 years ago, and she still has.
And she still has an impact today.
No. Brandy been here all these years and still ain't on that level
of impact.
What? Ain't making sense.
Anyway.
Impact. Aaliyah been gone for 25 years.
And her impact is still.
You go to Walmart. You go to Walmart, Hot Topic, and buy you a Aaliyah shirt right now.
Still today.
Who? Where's the Brandy shirts at Walmart and Hot Topic? Where's the Brandy shirts at?
No, bro. I would say from a cultural impact
got that one.
perspective,
you got that.
Aaliyah has that over Brandy.
Vocally and close Brandy way.
Can Brandy sing better than Aaliyah? 100%.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, guys. Come on, guys. Look at the Brandy's footprint.
Where's Brandy Rock the Boat at? I mean, what's Brandy's Rock the Boat?
No, what's Brandy's one in a million?
Technically. Y'all sound like Jim Jones right now.
What's Brandy's
talking about?
What's Brandy's at your best?
You can take.
Where's Brandy? Are you that somebody?
It would take you 2 Aaliyah albums to do
what
Brandy did with Boy Is Mine alone.
Dust yourself off and try.
Alone.
Wait a second.
That song
it would take 2 Aaliyah albums to
Ty.
You know what?
Brandy
we gonna come
one song.
Ty.
We gonna come.
Do we want to compare The Boy Is Mine to Aaliyah's top song? So you saying me The Boy Is Mine is bigger than any Aaliyah song? Are you telling me that?
I'm saying whole albums, whole Aaliyah albums.
Age ain't nothing but a number. And what's the next one? The Timbaland did.
Ladies and gentlemen,
are we done?
Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Jim Jones and Jim Jones.
Yo, you
Jim
crazy.
Jones and Jim Jones.
Aaliyah.
Y'all treating y'all.
No, sir.
So you saying that Aaliyah is Jim Jones and Brandy's Nas?
No.
Are you saying that? Are you saying Aaliyah is Jim Jones and Brandy's Nas?
I'm saying y'all Jim Jones.
The disrespect.
Nope. Nope.
The disrespect.
No, y'all.
You trying to say Aaliyah is Jim Jones to Brandy Nas? That's disrespectful.
That's disrespectful. Now, what is disrespectful? Do you think Maxwell at 38 should be over Brandy? What about Frank Ocean? Toni Braxton, because she's number 36. What about Alicia Keys? She's number 33. Can Alicia Keys, does she have more vocal prowess
and got no business
and body of work and more hits?
No, Alicia Keys had a run when she
does
was
Alicia Keys have more hits
one of the
than
biggest
Brandy?
artists in the world.
Alicia Keys was a huge mega artist, bro.
Google says Brandy has more album sales than Aaliyah. Brandy has sold over 40 million albums worldwide, while Aaliyah estimates at 24 to 32.
How many albums? How many hits?
Like I said,
and how many hits?
Brandy had 25
It would
years.
take all of Aaliyah's catalog to equivalent to what Brandy. Okay. Y'all want to do how many hits?
How many hits?
I can't believe y'all want to do how many hits.
How many hits does Brandy have?
Jones.
No. That's what I'm asking.
Take your Timbs off at the door.
Let's find out.
And then,
we'll let y'all think about what we talked about today.
Okay, so we already moving the goalpost where I just proved that by 20 million, Brandy has more sales than Aaliyah. 20 million, not $25.
Ty.
20 million.
Ty.
Now we gonna go to hits.
Ty. No. Stop.
Who has more
Ty,
Billboard?
Please, stop. Pause.
Okay.
Let's just stop now. Let's resume another episode.
Yeah, we're gonna have to because
I gotta get down and do some homework on this one because I
me too.
Disrespect Aaliyah like that. I'm gonna sit down. I don't got time to do all the homework.
And the crazy thing is I don't disagree with y'all about Aaliyah's impact on the culture, but to say that it's because it has been a huge impact. I just don't think it's bigger than Brandy's.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have to think. The fact is, she done sold 20 million more albums of her, and once I finish typing in,
but she's
Google
still
search
overly
for number of hits.
Brandy probably has more album sales than some of the people that are in the higher categories.
No, Ty, we're gonna deep dive and verify. We're gonna deep dive.
But it doesn't mean that she had.
We're gonna study. We're gonna come with the real deal.
But that doesn't mean that she met in all those areas of criteria that they listed.
I'm not gonna say what's on my screen.
I mean, I see it right here.
I'm not even gonna say it.
Brandy has more hits than Aaliyah. While both have successful careers, Brandy overall record sales and chart performance are slightly higher than Aaliyah's.
Slightly?
Brandy has sold an estimate.
She had 25 years.
Look.
Slightly.
Brandy has an estimated 8.6 million in the U.S., over 40 million records worldwide. Aaliyah has sold 8.1 million in the U.S. and an estimated 24 to 32 million worldwide. And Aaliyah's dead.
In the U.S., they sold about the same amount of albums in the U.S.
And Aaliyah's dead. So she can't sell any more albums. She can't come out with new
same amount
music
in the U.S.
And so,
I'm saying is what I said.
For someone who's
they both have affected the culture. I said Brandy's footprint is much larger and is not even close. And I'm right.
Disagree, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for being here with us.
Hey, somebody go find me.
We're going to put how many TV shows and movies do
we know Brandy because that's
versus
Brandy.
Somebody go find me a Brandy t-shirt in the mall. Somebody go find me a Brandy t-shirt, please.
I mean, that's a bar. You with that one.